Well, hello, welcome to Tuesday Trucker Talk. I'm Trucker Todd, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight. Um, I released a video this morning um, talking about the new truck that I'm not, well, it's new to me, the new truck I'm getting, and got a lot of mixed reviews. We had some people that were super supportive, some people that were super negative, and so I felt like I probably should explain some more. There's a lot of confusion. Heck, one guy that's deeply involved in this deal, the investor that's helping me get the truck, heard my video this morning. He thought I was down on the deal and not really that excited. He called to make sure I was okay and that I was still in. So I think we probably already explained some things here to help this make sense to everybody. So for that reason, we're going to do the show a little bit differently tonight. I'm going to get to all your comments. I don't want you to think just because I'm ignoring the comments here at the beginning that I don't appreciate your comments or what you have to say. But I just want to get some things out here because before we even start this video, I know we're going to hear some stupid comments and some smart ass remarks and things like that. So I feel like we ought to just hit them head on. For that reason, I'm asking the moderators, let's not block them. Let's get it all out there on the table. Let's all say what we got to say, and then let's move on with it. And then if we have somebody that's way out of line, then we can jump into that. But before we do, let me say hello to the channel members. I know several of you are still trying to figure out how to become a channel member. It's real simple. If you've got an Android phone, you just click the join button underneath the video, and it's like $4.99 a month or something like that. If you have an Apple product, then you have to get on your phone's browser and go to YouTube and do it that way, or get on a regular computer, from what I understand. Um, so that's how that works for those that know. But like always, we're going to start with the original channel member and work up to the latest. This is the list as of about 10 minutes ago. So if you've become a channel member in the last 15 minutes, your name may not be on here yet. Man, you can tell my throat is sore. I've been on the phone all day. Ramon was the first one to join as a channel member. Then it was RGB, John Toohey, Corey Oatley, Robbie Ross, Midlife Trucker, Red Raider Reloading, Randy's Road Life, Keith Kroll, and Christian Harlow, rounding out our top 10. Just imagine when we get to 12, we can start calling them the Dirty Dozen. We affectionately refer to those 10 as the Gorilla Gang. All right, folks. I want to start this a little different than I normally do. I put a quote in the ticker at the very beginning, and when it comes up again, I want to read it to you, and then it's going to kind of explain where I'm going with this. And so give it just a second. It's going to come up, and I think we're almost there. But you know, this has been a weird year for me, and things are a lot different than what they've ever been before. And so I see some holes in the deal I made, but it was the best deal I could make for the situation that I'm in. And we're going to talk about it tonight. But I'm trying to wait on that ticker to come around. Dang, it's long. It takes a while. And right now it's doing the disclaimers. All right, here we go. This came from Donald Rumsfeld. A viewer sent it to me earlier today. Says, you go to war with the army you have, not the army you might want or wish to have at a later time. And that came from Donald Rumsfeld, former Secretary of Defense. Now, that's what I want you to look at this situation as me going to war with the army I have, not the army I might necessarily want. I think we all know that the army I'd rather have would have been that Kenworth. And for a lot of things have happened. Hey, let's look at my year. April 28th, I had an accident. Okay, that's on my record. Those of you that have been involved with one knows it doesn't matter if it's your fault or not. Having it on there, an accident with towaways is always bad. It's always a strike against you. So that job lasted 3 weeks. That doesn't look great. Then I come here. It's been great, but because of this breakdown that lasted, I've been home almost 6 weeks now. Uh, that hurt my credit score big time, and I mean like 50, 60 points. So when you say it also depleted my savings. So when you say, well, Trucker Todd, I could have got a better deal than that, you probably could have. When you say, well, Trucker Todd, I would just leave SRO Logistics and I would go to this company, I probably could, but why would I? I like where I'm at. I don't change companies just because the going gets tough. Now, so do I think also we got to remember that while truck prices and diesel are going down, inflation's going up. So that means interest rates are going up and loans are more expensive than what they might otherwise be. Down payments are also more expensive than they might otherwise be. Some of you have said, well, Todd, why didn't you get that KW, that older KW? You wouldn't have all the death stuff. Well, initially it would have been cheaper. I ain't going to lie to you. But I had to have the 2000 up front, plus those of you that have bought a truck, and that's the problem. I'm arguing with a lot of people that have never bought a truck. There's some title transfer fees and things like that, depending on what state and what county you live in. And so I don't think this morning when I did that video, I was having negative thoughts about this deal. I think reality was just setting in. And I knew it wasn't the perfect deal, but it was the best deal I could get in my situation. And I think I might have come across as unappreciative or not grateful. And I certainly didn't mean that. I think I was just tired and overwhelmed. And when the investor talked to me this morning, he's like, Todd, most of the people that are talking smack to you and that are criticizing don't realize what you actually do every day. He said, I know what you do every day. And so I appreciated that. And he's been around me before. He's seen the phones and how things go. And so that was something I really wanted in this deal that I got. Now, some other things that I did not mention about the truck in this morning's video. It does have an APU. Well, I did mention that in the video, but it recently had an overhaul like this week. So I shouldn't have to do that for a while. The guy bought the truck new from SFI. So it's a one owner truck. I'm going to be the second owner. Well, I guess technically the investor will be the second owner. I'll be the second buyer though. Well, however you want to calculate it. Call me two, call me three, however you want to call me. It hasn't bounced around in a lot of company hands, things like that. Now, being an SFI truck, it's not going to have as many amenities as what my Kenworth had, but the payments and the sales price of the truck and everything else are significantly, and I do mean significantly, cheaper than what the Kenworth was. So that's going to be a big deal. I'm looking forward to putting that additional money I'm saving into a savings account for maintenance and repairs and things like that. Now, one more thing I want to say about it, and then we'll jump into your comments. Um, every one of you should be wishing for my success. Whether you love me or hate me, it doesn't really matter. And I'll tell you why. The investor that's doing this lease purchase with me, this is a beta test for him, and I'm the guinea pig. So if I come out here and do well, that opens up other opportunities for other people. If I come out here and fall on my face in 2 or 3 weeks, that closes doors for people. So even if you can't stand me and you think I'm full of baloney, and we're probably going to see some of that tonight. They've been waiting all day to come on here and humiliate me. And even if you secretly hope I fail at everything else, hope I do well enough that it inspires this investor to help more people, because most of us in here, that's what we want, is to help other drivers, to make trucking a better job in general for everybody. And so, yeah, I've heard some toxic comments today. I want you to keep in mind, though, that I did this with no money down, no risk to me personally, to my credit or nothing like that. So I'm flying out Saturday morning super early, and I'll be picking up the truck sometime Saturday afternoon, and then I'll try to get a video out. Probably it'll come out Monday, for maybe Sunday or Monday for the viewer, for the members, and then everybody else will see it probably Wednesday or Thursday. So I wanted to get that out there, and I know there's a good possibility that I'm going to have some challengers tonight, and I guess I'm ready for them. So I'm going to scroll up to the top. We'll get into the comments. I just, I like to think I have a fairly long fuse, and I put up with and put up with and put up with, but sometimes you got to strike back. And that quote that I put there really helped me today to kind of put things in perspective. I do feel like I'm in a battle, and I may not have the army I want, but I got to go to war with the army I got. And so throughout this video, while you hear me answering questions and stuff, just kind of glance down at that ticker and kind of take that in. Think about what that quote says. All right, first in here tonight was Roger Berry. Thank you for being here, sir. And channel member Corey Oatley was the second one here today. Says, looking forward to the details on this latest acquisition. Wow, that makes it sound like a big corporate takeover when you say it that way. Roger Berry, so am I watch the video, but there's going to be more. Yeah, there's going to be more. And you guys will think to ask me questions tonight that I might have missed, things I might not have thought about to ask. Let me touch on that for a second. There was actually two trucks when we were considering doing this lease purchase, and one of them did have a 10-speed, and one of them did have an automatic. I got them crossed in my head. This one is the 12-speed automatic. It's the exact same transmission I had in my Swift truck, and the exact same engine, the DD15. So very reputable engine and even transmission, really, for reliability and economy. And that's what I was looking for. Now, being an SFI truck, it's not going to have near as many options as what I might have been used to. But at this point, I just needed to stay in the game. The surfing is going to be good. Gary Cook says, I'm headed to St. Louis, Missouri. Hopefully I get there before the show. I hope you made it, man. I thought yesterday that it'd probably be at 6 o'clock today because my wife's at work right now. She should be getting home any minute. But it worked out that me and my uncle and two of my cousins went and ate at her restaurant for lunch. And so I was able to leave her the pickup, and my uncle dropped me off back here at the house. Roger Berry says, I'm where I need to be for delivery at 7 in the morning. That's what I always like to do. I like to go ahead and get there and spend the night at the place. I know a lot of people will park and then they'll try to drive it in the morning, but then they end up getting held up in traffic or something and being late. And I've found it better to just go to the place and park. And a couple of times, it doesn't happen very often, the night shift will come out there and say, hey, we really need what you got. Do you care if we unload you tonight? So that doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while it will. RCE says, good looking truck, Todd. I think it's going to be okay. You will be trucking up a storm in the new truck. Happy Thanksgiving, old buddy. Well, thank you, sir. I need to. Oh boy, do I need to. So I've got 2 doctor's appointments in December. I've got a doctor that's pretty flexible with me. So if I miss it by a day or 2, he'll work with me. But it'll be come through, see the doctor, hop back out in the truck and go. Probably take a couple of days off at Christmas or something like that. But definitely need to be out working right now. Tim Back Trucking says he's here, but he's home, so he may or may not be listening. He'll watch the replay. If not, have a good show, my friend. Well, thank you, sir. And shipping containers for sale. You just lost the last truck because you didn't have the funds to be an owner operator, and here you go again, getting in another truck. I give you 6 months, you'll be blaming everyone for losing it. Okay, we've got our first troll of the night. Let's deal with this troll. I've been dealing with him all day. Actually, it would be great if your comment was true, but it's just based in falsehoods. Let's break it down. So, I did not lose the truck because I didn't have the funds. I lost the truck because it sat in the shop for over a month before I lost it. I will bet you, A, I'll bet you're not an owner operator. And B, I'll bet you most of the owner operators in here couldn't survive being down a month in the shop, especially if you're under a truck payment. Now, maybe you could if you had a paid off truck, but in this market, in this environment, most guys are barely making it anyway. And when you throw a hardship like that in there, it's tough. I just saw a report today that there's a lot more companies they're anticipating going under here real soon. So it's not just me. It's the economy and market and inflation that we're living in right now. And I don't think you've heard me blame anybody for this situation. In fact, I think you've heard me thank a lot of people for helping out and for doing what they could. So swing and a miss on your part. Thanks for playing, but you're totally wrong. Roger Berry says, "Wow, that's harsh." Oh, you hadn't heard nothing yet. Wait till they get going. I've had all kinds of criticisms this week. The keyboard warriors are psyched up for tonight. They'll say tons of crap on here. I guarantee you that coward wouldn't say to my face. Ted says, "Hello, Mr. Todd. Nice truck." Well, thank you, sir. Retired super man, I can't talk tonight. Retired super trucker says, "I'm in waiting. Hurry up and wait. Story of a trucker's life." Amen, brother. Amen. I don't understand that either. These places that we pick up and deliver, they make the appointments. So an appointment says, "I'll be ready for you at this time." We wouldn't accept this kind of treatment from our doctors or any other professional. But with these shippers and receivers, you can have a 2 p.m. appointment and they might not, they say, "Well, you got to give us 2 to 4 hours grace period." So can you imagine if you went to your doctor for a physical and you had a 2 p.m. appointment and he goes, "Oh, well, we got 2 to 4 hours before we have to see you. Why didn't you just make my appointment at that time then? Instead of setting me there at 2 and making me wait, if you knew you wasn't going to be able to see me till 6, set the appointment for 6." And it never fails. Something goes wrong. I had one, this was several years ago. I showed up and the forklift driver had called in sick and I still had my OSHA card. And I said, "Can I run the forklift?" And I unloaded my own trailer because they didn't have anybody else there that was qualified to do it. I said, "I'll set it out here on the dock. And then when your guy gets back, he can put it where he wants it." My good friend Adam is here. I've been thinking about you, sir. How are you doing? Are you fully recovered yet? Fly Rabbit says he's here. Good to have you, man. Let's see here. All right, time to deal with another falsehood. Hopefully, the bunk heater is working on this one. So, let me explain to you how I do maintenance. In my mind, I classify things between critical and not critical. Critical are DOT violations, blown out tires, major oil leaks, things that you got to get fixed because if a DOT officer sees it, he's going to put you out of service. Those get priority. Next are non-critical. Those are things that it'd be nice to have, but you could live without it. They would be things like your refrigerator doesn't work or your bunk heater doesn't work. Maybe even your cruise control don't work because you can live without a cruise. And depending on season and time of year, maybe your air conditioner. However, since I was already in the shop for a critical thing, which was the left turn signal, it made sense to go ahead and get the bunk heater fixed while I was in there. I call it my laundry list. So when critical things gets fixed, that's when you have other things addressed too. That cuts down on your downtime. And so that's what I did. So it wasn't that I was down for that length of time because of the bunk heater. The bunk heater was actually that PCM's what took the most time. And quite frankly, while we're being honest, The shop not even looking at it for the first week it was there is what held it up a lot. They had told me they would look at it within 2 days, and they sat on it for a week. So I'm excited uh, to not have the uh, the Kenworth anymore because I won't have to deal with that Peterbilt dealer. In Lubbock, we've got a really good Freightliner dealer. It's Lubbock Truck Sales, and I know some guys over there, and I trust them a lot more for repairs and things like that. But quite frankly, with a Freightliner, a lot of your major shops, your TAs, your Petros, they can work on it, and quite frankly, a lot of mom and pop shops can work on them. It's a very common thing. Did you get my text? No, it's been on there. Never mind. And Steve says, "Let's go." Yes, sir. It we started right at 5. Keith Kroll's channel member says, "Good evening, gentlemen. I've been called into work, so I will not be able to join the live fun. Unfortunately, I will catch the replay in a few hours, though. I hope you all have a great time." Thank you, sir. Steve said, "Thanks for letting us know. My name is Nobody. Gave me a thumbs up." Channel member John Toohey says he's here. I'm glad to have you, man. Let's see. Make sure I didn't skip nobody. Don says, "Good evening. Good evening, sir. Thank you for being here." And Steve with the emojis. Brian Walton says he made it. I got to learn what all these emojis means. Let's see. We've got hands, a chocolate donut, us. Michael says, "Hello. Hello, sir." Carlos says, "I love this channel. First time on here." Well, we appreciate you being here. This channel is a little different than a lot of your YouTube channels. On here, as we get to know you, people will ask questions, and we may ask, "Well, what do you think, Carlos?" Because there's some facet of trucking that you probably have a lot of knowledge and experience, and we just try to help each other in here. We got a small crowd in the cheap seats that like to try to derail the channel. Most of them ain't even truck drivers. They like to complain. They like to take shots at me, make fun of me, but we don't let that slow us down from our goal of trying to help others. And I always try to be honest and transparent with everybody. Look, right now, I could have lied my way through this stuff that's going on. I could have said "Oh, I traded the Kenworth in, and I got this other truck instead," and I could have rigged it in a way none of you would have known. But we don't do that in here. We tell the truth, good or bad. Sometimes I'm going to come on here and I'm going to look like a diamond. Everything's going to look like, "Oh man, Todd's so smart. He did everything right." And sometimes it's going to be me coming on here going, "I screwed up. I made a mistake. I regret doing this. I wish I'd have done that." And sometimes crap happens. And that's what's happened the last 6 weeks. It's just been one disaster after another. And that's why I put that quote in the comments. You go to war with the army you have, not the army you might have wanted or wished to have at a later time. And that was Donald Rumsfeld, Secretary of Defense, that said that. And that's exactly it. I'm putting the best team I can on the field, and we're going to play the game. And, we've already had people come in here tonight, and they're predicting I'll fail in the next 6 months, and that's fine. I don't care. How many times this year have they predicted I failed? When I had that accident, April 28th, "Oh, this is it for Todd. He's done. Nobody's going to hire him." Ended up with the best job I've ever had. And then when I came here, they said, "Oh, you can't run the spot market. It's terrible." I did great at it. I led several months for gross revenue within the company consecutively. And now when I lost this truck, oh Todd, you're screwed because of that accident. You not having a truck, you're going to have to go to a mega carrier that's going to treat you like dirt. Several people said you don't have any choice. You're going to have to be a company driver. Well, and I said, well, my goal is to stay at SRO Logistics. That's what I want to do. I like working with Scott. That's what I'm going to focus on. Oh, there's no way, Todd. And then we heard people say, well, the only reason Todd stays with SRO Logistics is because nobody else will hire him. He has to stay there. Well, we found out that wasn't true. I've had offers, but I like the devil I know versus the devil I don't know. I know what Scott wants, what his policies are for his company, and I know what lanes I like to run. And so I got, the way I see it, I got almost everything I wanted, which is always great in a negotiation. Did I get the exact truck that I wanted? No, but I think I got a good one. Did I get to stay with the exact company I wanted to? Yeah, I did. So um, I'm choosing to look for the victories here instead of the things where I didn't get everything I wanted. And I think sometimes as truck drivers, we can be so focused on what we didn't get instead of being grateful for what we did get. No Fear says, hey, everyone. Carlos says, I would love to send you a super chat. How do I go about that? I'll be honest with you, I don't know. One of you that has sent me a super chat before, can y'all tell me or tell Carlos how to do it? I greatly appreciate the donations. They help. A lot of people don't think about having StreamYard. There's a subscription fee. The upgraded phones and things I need, the laptop I need to do these videos. It's nice to recoup some of that cost, and especially here at Christmas time after being off 6 weeks. But I appreciate y'all being here, whether you donate or not. But if you want to, I think that would be great as well. Daryl says, I'll be listening. Good deal, man. Yes, it does. Carlos says, man, it sucks. Yes, it has. It has sucked royally. I'm not going to lie to you. Some of you that talk to me on the phone on a regular basis have caught me in various degrees of panic, stressed out, sometimes to the point where what I'm saying doesn't even make sense. It's probably a good thing I wasn't on the road because I've really been stressed out the last 30 days. And I think, and the investor this morning, we were talking on the phone, I think he got it. He said, man, I know you're stressed out. And he said, I think you're just fatigued. I said, I absolutely am. And I probably won't sleep good until the second night I have the truck. And then I'll just crash and I'll probably sleep a long time then. And then I maybe not though, because I'll know I have to get up and work hard. But yeah, it's well said, Carlos. Man, it has totally sucked for sure. Uh, so Tim Back is answering how to do a super chat. He says, Carlos, you click the cash symbol near the chat box at the bottom right. Then you click on the sticker you want and the money you want to add. Hope that helps. Yeah, that helps me. So it's a cash symbol in the bottom right corner under the video. Thank you for that, Tim. Matter of fact, somebody just did a super chat. Let's go down here and get them. Or no, they didn't. Hey, Tim Back just became a channel member. Good deal, man. I'm glad you made it. How did you do it? Tim was the original person that he had an Apple product and he couldn't figure out how to do it and we couldn't figure out how to do it. And I'm guessing since he was at home, he was able to get on his internet browser and do it. I don't know why they don't fix it where you can do it on Apple products. But let's see here. Man, I'm glad you was able to do it, Tim. Let's see here. I'm almost caught up where I was. I just seen a bonehead trucker. There's a lot of them out there right now. What did he do? And Midlife Trucker says, Piano Man. Yeah, I pulled the piano out today and Who knows? Maybe later I'll sing your favorite hits. I'm like the modern day Billy Joel. No Fear says it's a good looking truck. Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, I like midlife's interpretation. He says I'll be the second dude to put my butt in the seat, and that's sort of true. So the one guy bought the truck from SFI. He's driven it since 2017. The investor is picking it up and bringing it um, to SRO Logistics, which is where I'll pick it up. That way, SRO Logistics can look over the truck and all of that. It just makes sense. And then I'm bringing it back to Lubbock where my empty trailer is sitting. And then I'm going to go to work at lightning speed just as quick as I can. And channel member John Toohey says, Sir Tim, back salute. Yes, sir. Hey, Red Raider Reloading channel member is also here. He's a good friend of the show and a former Lubbock. Is it a Lubbockite? Is that what they call him here in Lubbock? A Lubbockite? And Red Raider channel member says, "Hope all is well. Sitting back and listening today." So you're not driving tonight, huh? Are you okay in there? Okay. That the let's see, the that's harsh comment was from the deleted comment from shipping container. Yeah, he's been coming after me pretty hard the last couple of weeks. Um, I actually respect him because he's saying what a lot of those guys think, but they don't have the guts to say it to me. And I'm sure there's a few people that are thinking it under their breath, but you know, that's what they don't realize. They actually motivate me when they come across with those comments like that. So it's fine. I mean, I'm not going to make everybody happy, and what most of them are upset is they keep predicting my failure, and it keeps not happening. Now I'm kind of like a cat with 9 lives. I'm running out of extra lives, so I need things to start going right pretty quick. I don't think there's 2 or 3 more truck purchase opportunities available to me if this one fails. And so I'm not going into this thinking, oh, I'll try it 6 months, and if it don't work out, I'll go do something else. I'm going into this not even thinking about myself. I'll be quite honest with you. Um, I'll land on my feet no matter what happens. But because he is beta testing this, it's real important to me that it succeeds so that if another driver needs help or needs a truck, that he's open to the idea. Like I said, if I fail in 3 weeks, he's going to say, "Oh, I don't want no part of that lease purchase deal." And a little bit about the deal. While I'm not going to give monthly payment amounts or nothing like that, I will tell you that it is significantly less than the Kenworth. And what he did is he went out and got a bank loan, and he rolled that amount over, interest and all, to me at no markup. And then he put a standard dollar amount markup on there because basically he's putting his money and his credit at risk for 3 years. So I expect him to make a little bit, and I don't have a problem with that. And he was very open and honest about that, and I knew it from day one. At no point did I expect him to do it at cost or at a discount where he was going to lose money in the deal. And flipping from the investor to Scott, Scott has said he's going to work with me on the trailer payment fees and things like that. He's not going to take every penny out of my settlement. So, I mean, I found an investor that's going to help me with the truck. And then the guy that I enjoy being leased to is going to make moves and make decisions that's going to help me succeed. So while I look down, I think I'm more tired than anything, but I'm really pumped and really excited. No, but this is funny. Midlife channel member says, wife's restaurant, did you leave a good tip? No, I sandbag her. I didn't give her a tip at all. But she did pass out these little cards where it had a QR code and you left a survey. And I left her a real good survey and mentioned her by name. And I think my uncle did a survey on her too. So she got a couple of good surveys out of it today. And channel member John Toohey says, I think you're doing exactly what you need to do for you and your wife. I'll bet if the haters were in your exact situation, they would probably do the same thing. Yeah, it's funny, the people that are close to me and that know what's going on, I haven't had one single one of them say, oh, I wouldn't do that if I was you, Todd. They're going, man, Todd, this is a great opportunity. You ought to run with it. And so the naysayers are people that don't drive a truck at all, or they don't know the details. They just want something to gripe about. We got to jump ahead. We've got a big super chat here that we need to talk about. ROB, Rob, with the $100 super chat. Thank you very much. I do believe that is the largest super chat I've ever got. So I really appreciate you. You didn't put a comment though. If you've got a question or something you want me to talk about, throw it up there and I'll be happy to get to it. Wet my whistle a little bit and then we'll jump back into the comments. Thank you honestly though very much. I hadn't seen you in here before, but I appreciate you joining us and helping the channel out like that. Red Raider Reloading channel member says shipping container for sale guy sounds like a liberal retard. Yeah, you know, he doesn't like me for whatever reason, and that's fine. I've said before, there's lots of people I like that don't like me personally. Whether I like you or not has no dependence on whether you like me or not. And so it's okay he doesn't like me. Sometimes you meet people and there's not a particular reason you don't like them. You just don't like them. And for whatever reason, he's watched my videos and he doesn't like me, and that's fine. But I'll tell you this too. People develop opinions about me on here, and then when they meet me in person, a lot of them change their mind and decide I'm not a bad guy. I had a guy as recently as today that was commenting on my videos. He thought he didn't like me. We went to a Wendy's and sat down and had a hamburger together and talked for about 30 minutes. And today he was putting very positive comments on my videos. A guy that 6 months ago definitely didn't like me had changed his mind after he sat down with me. And I bet that shipping container guy's the same way. I bet he's got in his head what I am and all. And I bet if he sat down and talked to me, that he'd find out I'm not such a bad guy. Nobody's going to agree with every decision you make or everything you do. Heck, I say, one of my sayings that I tell my wife and people around here, if you live long enough, your kids will disappoint you. And that's because they're adults and they're going to make their own decision. And me being an adult, of course, people like Red Raider Reloading, that's a friend, they're going to be supportive. And they might say, hey, Todd, I don't know if I'd do that or not, but I wish you the best. People that don't have your best interest or care about you at all, they're going to say things like Shipping Container did about, well, you're going to fail in a few months and things like that. And I was talking about that as recently as this morning with a guy that, people will, well, crap, I drew a blank. But anyway, that's how you know I'm tired, folks. But yeah, it's these people. Oh, I know what I was going to say. People that have your best interest at heart. I've said this in videos. If you tell me, Todd, I'm making $600 a week and I'm happy, I'm going to congratulate you. I'm not going to say, you idiot, don't you know there's companies paying $1,300 a week or $1,900 a week? Because you're happy where you're at doing what you're doing. If you say, I'm making $2,000 a week, how can I make more? I'm going to say, well, let's look at your numbers. Let's figure it out. Maybe you need to get better fuel economy. Maybe you need to get the ES Advantage fuel card. Maybe you need to slow down. Maybe you need to try to run loads on flatter land. Maybe you need to try to find lighter loads, whatever your situation is. But if you come at me and you say, hey, I'm making $5,000 a week and I think I need to be more making more. At that point, I may say, you need to have realistic expectations. And that's why I named this video Reality Check. It's all about realistic expectations. I'm a guy that now his credit sucks. He has very little money down. And, he's had a recent accident and a recent repossession. So I've got a lot of strikes against me. Why would I go take a chance with another carrier when I've got one that I work very well with and that works very well with me? He's very interested in me staying working for him, and I'm very interested staying working for him. There has not been, in the last 6 weeks while all this crap has gone on, there has not been one time where I was like, Scott, I just don't want to work with you no more. Not once. I did call him once and say, I don't see any way we can move forward. And then later that day, he called me back and we worked out some things, and it was good. But there was never a chance where I was looking for a way out. And there was never a spot where he was going, man, I wish Todd would just leave. So everything worked out as good as it possibly could. Channel member John Toohey says, who knows, that truck will probably do better than most new ones. I hope so. I had another guy that commented today, and these are the kind of comments that are helpful. This is what I hope I can get us all to do. He told me that starting in late 2016, that Freightliner did something to the emission systems on them that improved them greatly. And he had got that from a mechanic friend of his. And he said he felt like that a 2017 with those emissions on them would be a really good truck. And he was very positive. Now, see, that's the kind of people I'm talking about. He might have said, I wouldn't have bought that truck, but he's still being supportive. He's still trying to encourage me. And that's what we got to be out here. The way we treat each other, no wonder we get treated the way we do in trucking. We're too busy trying to eat each other. Gary Cook says, I'm here. What does Scott think? I think Scott, I hate to speak for Scott, but I'll tell you the impression I get. And his email's down there if y'all want to email him about bringing your truck here, or heck, if you want to email him about me, I can't stop you. It's safety@srologistics.com. But I think he's pretty excited. I think he was concerned that I might not be able to drive for him no more if we couldn't get another truck found for me. And so I think the thing that gets missed in all of this is he's been really supportive and encouraging the whole time. After he saw my video this morning, he called me and he said, hey, wellness check, are you all right? I said, yeah, I'm fine. And he said, you looked sad in that video. I said, yeah, I'm just tired. But he was worried about me. That's not something I'm going to get at a mega carrier. The owner of a mega carrier or the CEO of a mega carrier's not going to say, hey, I watched your video and I just wanted to make sure you're okay. You looked down. And so those little things are important to me. Now, there's some downsides to a small carrier. I've talked about them in other videos. I'm not going to get the big shop discounts like I would if I was at Creed or Swift or not. But that personal touch where if there's a problem, I can call the owner and say, hey, here's my concern. And he can say, yeah, I agree with you, or no, I don't agree with you. But I can get a pretty instant answer, usually within 24 hours. But yeah, from the get-go, and this would have been true if I'd have said, if on that second week I'd have called Scott and I'd said, hey, I think it's time for us to part ways. He would have still been supportive. He'd have still probably gave me a recommendation to the next company I went to. But from the beginning, I told him, hey, I'm going to find a way to stay working with you. I like working with you. I like how you operate your company, and I like being signed on to you. So from the beginning, he's been supportive of anything that would lead me to continue to work with him. So it's been great. We've got another super chat. Let's jump down and grab it, and then I'll jump back to your comments. See if I can find it. James Snyder with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you doing that. You guys, when y'all do a super chat, if you'll put a comment or a question there, I'll be happy to address it. But thank you very much. It really does mean a lot to me. That I was actually surprised. Let me talk about this for a second. So I had to buy a plane ticket to leave out Saturday morning. The plane ticket was $220. To take a bus was like $260. The plane got there in 4 hours. The bus took 24 hours. The only advantage to the bus was they didn't charge a luggage fee, whereas the plane, it looks like American Airlines is going to charge me $30 to take luggage, but I'm going to have to take sheets and pillows and things like that, at least enough to get back home. And the picture occasionally is kind of glitchy, so if you get to where it's choppy or something, let me know and we'll try to fix it. All right, let's see. Michael says, nope, you can't make it if you're down for a month. It's hard to catch up the payments unless they're willing to work with you. They usually won't, however. Yeah, it's, that's the problem is I got company drivers or mechanics or people that don't realize the overhead of a truck. And hey, I'm as guilty of it as the next guy. I remember in 97 driving my Swift truck after being out on the road a year thinking, man, this is a great truck. I'd like to own this truck. Just think of how much money I'd make. And I had no clue in 1997 what the overhead is, what the insurance is. and now I do. And people think, oh, when you go home, well, let's talk about that a second. Man, it's getting hot in here. Are you cold, Paula? But are you cold or is it just me under the lights? Anyway, that's what people don't realize about truck insurance, and they think, well, I'm at home, so I shouldn't be charged. All of that stuff, the insurance, the payments, the taxes, everything, it's still due whether you're rolling or not. The saying you ain't making money if the wheels ain't turning, that is definitely true when you're an owner operator. Now, anytime I mention that, people say, well, what about these companies that your truck payment is based on the mile? If you run 2,800 miles a week, your payments are through the roof. I mean, like 1,400 a week when they get done. Some of them are like 35 cents a mile for just the truck payment. And then you've got your maintenance account and all of that. And the little secret most of them don't tell you is while you're at home, they control your home time. They say, well, you got to stay out 3 weeks and then you can only go home 3 days. So they treat you just like a company driver. And a lot of people don't realize, they think, well, I'm an owner operator, I'll do what I want. But they know if they let you have that payment by the mile, that you could go home for 2 or 3 weeks and come back out and be 200 or 300 in the hole. And they don't want guys going home all the time. And that's how they keep them on the road, is by regulating their home time. So it's much better to have a monthly payment or a weekly payment where you are in control of your home time and everything. And the guy financing this truck for me asked me, did I want a monthly payment or did I want a weekly payment? And I know I said the opposite recently. I asked for a weekly payment because of how I do the loads at SRO Logistics. I do a lot of shorter loads that might pay $600 or $800 several times a week, as opposed to one big load that might pay once a week. As you guys know, SRO Logistics pays within 2 days after every load. Usually it's the next day, depending on when you scan your trips, but they say within 2 days. And so, yeah, I get multiple direct deposits a week when I'm running, and I just thought it'd be better if we did it on a weekly basis than one day a month where I've got, X number of dollars coming out, and it's 4 times what it would be if I had a weekly payment. And so we talked about how you calculate that. You take the monthly payment, multiply it by 12, and then divide it by 52, and that gives you a true actual weekly payment. Some companies do it differently, and you end up getting screwed out of some money. They'll do the monthly payment times 12 and then divide it by, or they'll divide it by 4 instead of what it is, the number of weeks, and it's off a little bit. So I appreciated the financier's honesty and, quite frankly, his correct accounting skills. Michael says, I don't put much stock in anything the that a can hauler would ever comment or any advice that they would give to start. Yeah, you know, I'm sure he's a really nice guy, but I just don't get it. You know, even if I hated your guts, I wouldn't come on a public forum and say, I hope you fail in a couple of months. I'd say, I wouldn't do what you're doing, but I wish you the best. I'm going to be watching to see if it works or not. But we're all raised differently, and quite honestly, we're taught as kids that we're all equal, but we're really not. Some of us are just better people than others, and I'm not referring to race, but I'm more referring to class, how we treat each other, how we treat ourselves, things like that. And so I'll bet there's some deficiencies there, and it's never too late to change, and hopefully he'll change. Midlife Trucker channel member says, appointment waiting. You've never been to a military doctor appointment. If you are late, it's a reschedule, but they have all day. Yeah. I'm actually pretty familiar with that. Yeah, I know about that. And the VAs, they're very, very busy. So, well, they're busy. It's a controlled busyness. It's like any other government agency. They could probably still see you if you're 30 minutes late, but they'll tell you they can't see you for 2 months. And, you know, Donald Trump helped with that a little bit because it used to be really bad. And George Bush did a lot for that too. Several presidents have tried to make it better, but it's still not where it needs to be. You remember when Trump was going to make it where if you couldn't get in at the VA, they'd let you go to a regular doctor. And boy, the politicians had a fit about that, about cost and everything else. But they had guys that were needing really, really serious medical treatment that couldn't get in to see a doctor. No fears. Let me know if everything works out with the buying deal, because in a few months, I'm going to be looking for a truck. Well, the financier, and I'll keep you in mind, no fear, but the financier told me that he wants me to do this for probably right around 6 months before he would consider doing it with anybody else. Just to kind of, hey, I mean, you may get a better deal than me 6 months from now as far as payments and things like that. This is the test run. This is the test drive. This isn't the final deal. Some of you, the deal you get offered when he opens it up to more people is going to be a lot different. But like I was saying, even the trolls in here that hate me, you should wish that I do well, because it might open up an opportunity for no fear, or for one of you others that might be interested in something. So even if you think I'm an idiot and you can't believe I'm doing this, you should still hope I do well, because it's going to directly affect other drivers. And I would never wish bad for anyone if I thought what they were doing could help other people. Alex M says, hey, Todd, just wanted to say that for 19 years, I've always been a simple, plain old company driver. Thanks to watching your vids, I finally just last week got my own authority. You are awesome. Well, good deal, man. It's I wish you the best. I really do. You're coming in at a tough time, so try to control your expenses as much as you can. But I'll say this, if you can make it through the next 6 months, you're going to be doing great when things get better. Just run it like a tight business, and I think you'll do great. But I'm excited, and I'm glad that I played a small part in you getting your own authority, and I really do wish you the best. Channel member, brand new channel member, Tim Back says he's listening till his woman gets home. Watch it as a family. Y'all put it on the big screen and sit on the couch and watch Trucker Todd together. I've been told that my videos put people to sleep, so I might help y'all rest tonight. Midlife Trucker channel member says SFI trucks, you will have to get rid of that of no trolley brake makes tug test a bit harder. Yeah, I know how to do a tug test with no trolley brake. Uh, I had a truck. I want to say my Swift truck didn't have one. You just pull that red one again and tug on it, and then push the red one in and take off. But I always get out and look under there and make sure the locking jaw is wrapped around. And I won't say I always did it, but I started when I was at Swift because being Trucker Todd and working for Swift, so many people wanted me to do something mistake worthy that could wind up on YouTube that I didn't want to be that guy. So, I did extra good walkarounds and stuff just to kind of protect myself. And it's something that's become a habit, and now I do it. Matthew Miller says, congratulations on the Freightliner, Todd. Thank you, sir. Retired super trucker. I'm going to get to where I can say that by the end of this show. You have definitely had a string of bad luck, but you ain't in the grave yet. Yes, sir. And that's that was something that I learned in all of this is a lot of people were like, man, Todd, the bad luck continues. Why don't you just give up? Why don't you quit trucking altogether? You've got car sales experience. Go back to the car lots. I've had people say that. Why don't you get an office job at a trucking company until your license clears up? All of these things were suggestions, and I'm one of those guys. I'm wired weird. The more people tell me, maybe I'm hard headed. My wife's over here laughing. But when you tell me you can't do something, or I'll bet you won't do this, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see if I can do it. And um, I think I'm in a really good spot now. Is it again going back to that quote? I don't have the army I want, but I've got the army I've got, and I'm gonna go to war with it. And sure, there's always a chance I could fail. I just read an article before I came on air that a fairly famous celebrity and comedian is opening a small restaurant in my hometown that I grew up at as a kid, and that's vegan. I don't know if I'll ever eat there or not, but I thought that was kind of cool. And so I don't know why I talked about that. I've lost my train of thought. But yeah, I know why I was talking about that. Now, in that small town, almost every restaurant that goes there fails within the first 3 years. Maybe since she's a celebrity, it'll last longer. She has another one in Los Angeles. So, but she didn't let the potential of failure take her out of the game or make her not want to take a risk. She bought a house in that small town of 3,000 people, and she's going to take her shot in a vegan restaurant in a town that, I mean, we're in West Texas. There's a lot of beef here. Everybody eats beef here. I probably wouldn't have done it, but my hat's off to her for taking her shot. Hey, Skyline's here. He says, hello, Todd. I just made it home going back out on Monday. Elbow cough. There you go. I'm glad you mentioned that. So we're not going to have a Thursday show this week because I figure you're all going to be eating turkey and watching football. But we will, if I get the truck, I'll try to shoot some video and we'll get it out there probably to channel members on Monday, and then Wednesday or Thursday we'll roll it out to everybody else. We've got a new channel member. Let's drop down and say hello to them. Oh, wait, we've got a couple we got to get to here. Sorry, some of y'all snuck in. James Schneider with the $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much. He says, Cordell, talk about the leasing and the warranty. So Cordell was a absolute train wreck. The trucks were nice. A lot of people have been telling me, oh, your KW broke down a lot. It really didn't. It was really a pretty good truck. The problem was the office staff. And in my opinion, they didn't have a lot of trucking experience. And so Because of that, situations like this where a guy's truck goes down for over a month, they didn't know how to take it. And so if I did a Cordell truck again, sorry, I got the hiccups now. If I ever did another Cordell truck, I would want monthly payments so that when you have a breakdown like this, then all of a sudden you're one payment behind instead of three. But yeah, I didn't find them very flexible, very willing to work with me at all. And you really need that when you have a financial relationship in a business like that. Now, um, yeah, I probably need to be careful what I say, or I'll be getting another cease and desist. We've got a new channel member. Smaller Holler is now a channel member. That's another one I won't be able to say three times real fast. Thank you for joining the Gorilla Gang. I appreciate you being here. Let me get back up here and grab some more comments. All right, I caught up where we were. How about them Cowboys? Says Jordan B. Congratulations on the new truck as well. Yeah, they're looking pretty good now. That's 2 weeks in a row that Dak played a little over 3 quarters, and he was done for the day, which that's a good problem to have. And that, what's his last name? Bland. He's a interception machine. I thought we were in trouble when we lost Trayvon Diggs for the season, but that Bland is something else too. And then of course number 11, I can't think of his name right now. Uh, that linebacker, he's crazy good at sacking the quarterback. And really everything, even when he's not in the play, just his presence makes a difference. Channel member Midlife says, based on regarding the accident, how long does an accident hurt you with carriers? The short answer is it depends on the carrier. Several of them, like Crete, for example, said a year. So a lot of them were like, we can't hire you yet, but April 28th, come on down. And so some of them, it's 5 years. So it just depends on the carrier, 1 to 5 years. Now, with your personal insurance for your car, it's usually about 3 years. You guys know how the PSP points work. The first year it hits you the worst. Second year is the second worst. Third year is the third worst. And then after that, you don't really get points off of it, but companies still hold it against you. Davenport family says, what are the payments on that truck? That's a great question that I will not be answering. Let me tell you why. Because I've always tried to be transparent, and I used to be really, really transparent because I thought, oh, this will motivate other drivers. It'll make them want to achieve. And I remember it mostly was settlements. I'd show a settlement, and I thought, this is going to motivate people to work harder to try to make more money. Well, half my audience would say, you're lying, and half my audience would say, you're bragging. It didn't motivate anybody. It just ticked everybody off. So that's why I quit doing income videos. Same thing when I traded the Corvette for some cash and that motorcycle, immediately, the second I said what year it was, what kind of bike it was, people started getting online saying, oh, you got ripped off. The bike's only worth this much. Oh, you got ripped off. Bike's only worth this much. Oh, you got a pretty good deal. The bike's worth this much. Couple things to remember about motorcycles, jet skis, campers, let's see, snowmobiles, recreational vehicles. In the colder months, they depreciate greatly. In the summer months, when you can enjoy them and use them, they appreciate. The value goes up a lot. So at no point did I find any evaluation or estimate that said my bike was worth $3,800. I did see anywhere from 6 to 12,000. Now you and I know it depends how they're optioned, the condition they're in. You really can't appraise something without looking at it. I know in my lease purchase deal that I overpaid for the truck. I already explained how that happened. It's got, 3 years worth of interest figuring in there. It's got a markup for the financier to make money on that loan that he had to get. I knew all of this going in, and I chose to do it because Otherwise, the alternative would have been a lease purchase with a not so great company, or it would have been a company job, which I don't have anything against company jobs, but it's hard to go back to that when you're used to the freedom and the decision making abilities I have now. So I did reveal that the term is 36 months. And since the guys in here are such experts at figuring out values of motorcycles, I'm sure they can figure out values of trucks. They can look up that truck and they can assume that, the financier is making a little bit. They can figure out what bank interest rates are for, let's call it above average credit. Um, he said his credit went down about 50 points lately, so the financier did. So it's not going to be, that prime 6% interest or something probably. But yeah, I just some guys a few bad apples ruin it for everybody, and a few guys have made it where I just don't feel comfortable revealing that information. Who knows? Maybe in the future I'll change my mind. Tom Bell, channel member, says, I'm a channel member on iPhone, iPad, just use Safari. Yeah, that's what we was talking about a minute ago about using the browser. I don't know why the app won't let you do it. Lamont Davis said, you get a new truck? Well, it's new to me. It's a 2017 Freightliner Cascadia. And I did a video that I released this morning that shows some pictures of the truck, and I give you a lot of information about it. And then at the start of this video, I gave a lot more information that you can check out. Scott says, hey, Todd, nice truck. Thank you, sir. So the investor is the man that owns SRO Logistics. I'm not revealing that either at this point. The investor and also the guy that had the truck. The guy that had the truck was retiring for personal reasons. I'm not going to reveal his personal reasons. The investor is a guy that is beta testing doing lease purchase with me. He agreed to buy the truck to attain the bank financing from his bank and allow me to lease purchase the truck. My stipulation was that I'll be able to lease it on at SRO Logistics. And so that's how it works. It is possible that if this lease purchase is a success, that I'll be revealing the investor and his contact information in the future. But right now it's a little premature. I hadn't even picked the truck up yet. That's another thing. If I come on here tonight and I gave you all the answers, I said, here's what my payment is, here's who the investor is, I gave you all the details, then you guys would go, oh, you're just, you're recruiting for that investor. He's probably paying you. But if I hold it a secret and don't tell y'all, then you're like, well, why you got to be so secretive? Why can't you just tell us? That's what I'm learning. It doesn't matter what I do, it's the wrong thing. But the way to minimize all the crap is just not tell anybody. And then some of you that I talk to privately, if you need to know, I'll tell you on like a need to know basis. Tim Back, new channel member, says we're talking about how to get a channel membership on an Apple product. Says you go on a browser through your phone and click join because Google owns YouTube, so Apple makes it harder for them to make money. That's something unrelated to what we're talking about tonight, but Europe is making Apple do a lot of stuff next year to their phones. One of them was the USB-C port. They've already made them add, but they're making it where they have to let them sideload to apps. They're trying to make it to where they have to allow Android users to use iMessage and things like that. Really taking away a lot of Apple's proprietary software. So we'll see where that goes. But right now it's looking like Apple would cave. I think Apple has enough market share right now. They could just tell Europe, fine, we won't sell our products in your country. And Europe would cave. But looks like Apple's caving right now. I tell you what Apple should do. They should tell Europe, we'll offer it to Android users as a subscription service and charge them so many dollars a month and make a boatload off of them. That's what I think they should do. But I just don't see I don't see how you can force a foreign company to give away their proprietary secrets. But Europe's sure going to try. I've been reading a lot of articles about that lately. I knew what you meant, Scott. Thank you for being here. Your name looks really familiar, like I might know you from somewhere, especially your last name. Have we met before, or did we work somewhere together? Red Raider Reloading channel member. Um, I was thinking that funeral was tomorrow. I'm sorry, my friend. He said his sister's funeral was today and he's off all week. Um, Dang, I'm sorry. I really am. I hope you're getting things under control. It's a lot to deal with, losing a family member and doing all the behind the scenes stuff you have to do to prepare for a funeral. I did read the obituary. I didn't get to make it to the visitation or anything, but my thoughts and prayers have been with you this week. Tim Back, channel member, says sorry for your loss. Yeah, it's a tough deal. A lot of people don't realize. I know Red Raider Reloading personally. We used to not work for the same company, but run into each other a lot. And he's he's the only person I know that's had a rougher last couple of months than me. He definitely needs your thoughts and prayers as well. He's a good dude, um, for sure. Me and him are going to hang out sometime. We're both in Lubbock. There's no excuse. And channel member Tim Back says, salute back to you, Mr. John Toohey. Another channel member, Randy's Road Life, says, hey, Randy, thank you for being here. And Randy's Road Life channel member also says, sorry, Red, for the family loss, brother. Yeah, it's just a bad deal. Channel member Randy's Road Life says, you went to Wendy's. Ooh, I don't like you anymore. So the Wendy's was at a truck stop here. I happened to be in town, and the guy was passing through. And, I had told him the same thing I tell a lot of them. Before you decide if you like me or not, sit down and talk to me for 30 minutes. And I didn't know what to expect when I showed up there. And the guy turned out to be a really smart, educated guy. That I was asking him some questions about my phone. He answered my questions. We talked world economics a little. He answered some questions there. And I think we both left there. Look, we're not fishing buddies, but I think we both left there with a little bit more respect for each other. And like I said, today his comments in my videos were very supportive. So if you've got somebody in your life that you're at conflict with, or that you think there's no way you can work things out, just sit down and talk to them. Try to put yourself in their shoes, see things from their perspective. Hopefully they'll see things from your perspective. And even if you don't become great friends and you don't agree on everything, maybe y'all can come to a point where you just agree to disagree. And to this day, I still got respect for him. I'm not going to come on here and bash the guy. Like I said, he gave me some really good advice in one of his messages this morning. And I told him, hey, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that. I'll actually make some videos about it too, because I think it would help other people. It was a great suggestion. And so it's going to take me a few weeks before I can do it. I'm going to look around. I'm going to be looking for a couple of things, actually. What I'm going to be looking for is somebody that can do what he suggested, but then that would be willing to come on air and talk with me about it and tell me what it means and all of that. And I think it'll make a great video that'll help a lot of people. And it's all because of a guy that, at one point didn't like me or think very much of me. And he may still not like me and think very much of me, but at least he'll come in my videos and make good suggestions. And he may be one of those guys. I don't know if he likes me or not, but I think he's an all right guy. I ain't got nothing bad to say about him. Red Raider Reloading channel member says, thanks, Tim Back Trucking and Randy's Road Life. Yeah, we've got a bunch of really good people in here. That's I'm really proud of this group and the caliber of people we got in here. Blues Trucker USA also had a lot of good comments today. He says, good evening, Todd. The simple fact that a person invested money in a truck to help you get back on the road and that Scott is willing to work with you on the trailer back payment says it all, in my opinion. Yeah, it really does. And I got these comments too. Let's talk about these comments for a second. Well, Todd, the only reason they helped you is because you're on YouTube. And while that probably didn't hurt, I disagree. And here's why. If I was a crappy driver that was ticking off shippers and receivers and delivering late all the time, they wouldn't care how big I was on YouTube. And while this channel is significant, there's channels a lot bigger. They care more about on-time service and safe driving and things like that. And so that's why I say whatever company you go to, give it your best. Some days you're going to feel better than other days. Communicate with them on days that you can't do something or won't do something. But having a good reputation, that's why when it looked like I wasn't going to be able to get a truck and stay with SRO Logistics, that companies started working behind the scenes to see if they could get me at their company or if they could put a deal together for me. It's because I developed a reputation of keeping my word, doing what I say I'll do, things like that. But I got very fortunate here. What happened, let me tell you how, I don't know if I ever told the story of how I got to SRO Logistics. One of my viewers, female viewer, and I'm not going to call her name out because I don't have her permission, sent me a very long email, pretty long email, talking about SRO Logistics and Scott. And she's like, Todd, I don't know if it'll be a fit or not, but you need to call the guy and talk to him. And I put it off a few days, and she called him. She said, hey, this guy on YouTube, Trucker Todd, he's going to call you. And she kind of told him about me. So I called him. He was expecting the call. And we had a pretty good conversation. Now, I'm a natural skeptic. So I got off the phone with him. I called my wife. I said, hey, he's a pretty good guy, but you just don't know. I said, we're going to have to talk a little more. Well, we started talking, and I liked everything about him, but I still had this little vibe that he was going to be a micromanager or that he'd be a guy that would get mad real easy. And then I went to work for him, and he was none of those things. He was great. I went to orientation, and it was real laid back. I had a good time. We got through the information and the paperwork we needed to get through. And then we transitioned into me being out on the road, and he'd call 2 or 3 times a week, and we'd just shoot the breeze for 15, 20 minutes. Hey, I just wanted to see how you were. Kind of like he did this morning. Hey, I'm doing a wellness check to make sure you're okay. And, that's, so we've turned into more friends. It's never been a, employer-employee type relationship. Now, he does have authority over me since I'm running under his authority. If I violate my logbook, I guarantee you he's going to call me. If if I do something bad, run a car off the road or something, I guarantee you he's going to call me. If I get a speeding ticket, he's going to call me. But until that time, he treats me like a professional, and I treat him like a professional. And so it makes this environment where when we get on the phone, we can have a good conversation. And when we hang up, we're both still in a good mood. We're not mad. And so that's why it was important to stay with him. There companies that I could probably make more money? Probably. I mean, there's always something bigger, something better. But why would I go risk that when I'm in the environment that I'm in right now? And that's why I fought so hard to stay here. And that's how he earned his email on the bottom of my ticker. If I wasn't sure that he was a great place to work, I wouldn't put his name down there. I would tell people, call me if you want to know. But I know what kind of caliber a guy he is. His wife is excellent. She does paperwork and stuff like that, office stuff, and just a really sweet person. I've said this in other videos, I can't imagine ever having an argument with about her. She doesn't. She's not aggressive like that. I can't imagine us ever being in a heated disagreement about something. And I'll say this too. 98% of the time, I never talk to her. Usually, I'm talking to him. But the few times that I have talked to her on the phone, she's always been pleasant and easy to deal with, and jumps right on whatever situation or concern I have. Also lost my mother October 7th. It's been a hard 45 days. That was Red Raider Reloading channel member. Yes. I wasn't going to bring that up because I didn't know if you wanted me to or not, but that's what I was referring to about the last couple of months has been really tough for him. His mom passed on October 7th. His sister went to a concert and caught COVID and went down pretty quick, and it's been tough. She's got two young college students, from what I understand, and Red Raider's going to have to step up and help them out. And it's a tragic situation all the way around that that it's going to come one day, but you're not expecting it at the time it happens. There's not really a way to prepare for it. Blues Trucker says, F the haters. Yeah, well, there's always that chance. That's the reason I told the story about that other guy. There's always the chance we can turn them if we still try to treat them with respect and try to deal with them. Some of them are never going to turn. They need something to hate, and it could be me if that makes them feel better. But I'm always hoping we could turn a couple of them because take shipping containers, for example. He's probably got some pretty valuable intermodal information. And if somebody comes in here and asks how intermodal is in this area or that area, he could probably be a lot of help and give them a lot of great advice. But we got to get him off of hating me and on to helping other people. I'm just a part of the puzzle. I'm not the puzzle. You guys are what make the puzzle. There's some things I know a lot about after 27 years of driving, and there's some things I know nothing about. But when I got all of y'all in here with me, somebody in here knows something about it. There's 66 in here right now. Somewhere in this 66 group, there's somebody that knows something about just about every facet of trucking. And so when a new guy comes in here and asks a question, one of you guys can help them. Y'all can bring value to the conversation. And so I want to try to turn as many of the haters as I can to where even if they don't like me, they tolerate me because they got information that might help all of us or at least one of us. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, says Michael. Yes, before I forget, since I'm not coming on Thursday, let me tell everybody happy Thanksgiving. Eat some turkey, cheer on the Cowboys, and we'll get those videos coming back real soon. Fly Rabbit says you will be back in it soon. You're a fighter. Yeah. So here's how it's going to work. Saturday afternoon, I'll sign the contracts provided everything's okay on the truck, and I'll probably take off unless I'm just exhausted. It'll be pretty late in the day after having to get up so early for that flight and everything. So I probably won't make it all the way back to Lubbock till probably Sunday night or early Monday morning. I found out a good friend of mine is going to be passing through Lubbock on the 27th, and he's only going to be there a couple hours. So I'm hoping to have lunch with him and pack my truck that day and hopefully leave out sometime Monday or Tuesday at the latest. But yeah, it's going to be a whirlwind trip, and I'm eager to get back to work. Hopefully I can find a decent paying load and turn this ship around. And I did say ship, S-H-I-P. Alex M says, Red Raider Reloading, sorry for your losses. Yeah, he's a good dude. I've talked to him a couple of times on the phone here recently, and just an enormous amount of pressure and stress on him as well right now. Retired super trucker, stay with the current carrier. I was with my final one for 18 years. Yeah, so that's another thing about Scott. He asked me in orientation, he's like, what's going to happen when when you and I have a problem?" And I said, "Well, I don't really see how we could have a problem because, I'm booking my own loads, I'm negotiating my own rates. You know, so much of the things, if there's a problem, I'm the problem." And so I said, I don't see how we could, there's not many situations where it could be your fault. So if we have a problem, it's probably going to involve me apologizing because I'm probably the one in the wrong. But we've only had one instance where we had a minor disagreement. It was early in the morning. We were both having a bad day, and we had a short disagreement. And I mean, less than an hour later, we had it all worked out. We were back to good again. But those kind of things tell me a lot about a person too. If me and him can have a disagreement and an hour later we're good again, then that tells me he doesn't hold a grudge, and he's somebody I can work with. And hopefully he feels that way about me too. But yeah, several people. There's a video a while back, a few months ago, where several people wanted me to start my own authority, and they wanted to get trucks and lease onto me. And now I'm like, why would I leave what I'm doing? Why don't I just keep what I'm doing? And those same people that wanted to work with me, just come over here and work with me, because I'm at a great place. It keeps the risk and the overhead down for me, and we've got a great deal. I don't have to deal with trailers or nothing like that. But man, that's great that you was able to stay at your last carrier 18 years. When now, I think the average driver stays at a company less than a year. I want to say it's like 10 or 11 months. Michael says, "Brother, you need to remember what doesn't kill you will make you stronger." I hope so. I definitely think some good came out of this. And a lot of people, I guess maybe that's where I'm different too. A lot of people are going to look at this and they're going to say, Trucker Todd's a failure. And, I saw a meme about me today that was actually pretty funny, but it was talking about me failing again soon. And, I'm not going to sit here and look at this as a failure. I'm not going to sit here and look at this as, oh, look at all the mistakes I made, or what should I have done differently. I'm going to see what I can take from this and learn from it and try to do better next time. I've told y'all that's the reason I like being an owner operator. There's always room for improvement. If they ever came up with a government salary and said owner operators can only make $1,800 a week, that's the glass ceiling, I'd lose interest. When I worked hourly jobs, I'd work till I got to the maximum pay, and then I'd quit because I wanted something to challenge me to keep going. That's why I love sales. You go up to your sales manager and say, "I want a raise." He'd say, "Sell more cars." And that's how they felt about it. The percentage was what it was. If you wanted a raise, you sold more cars. Same thing here. Instead of me going and telling Scott I want a raise, I need to look at my business. How can I run more efficiently? How can I negotiate rates better? How can I maintenance my equipment better to improve that fuel economy or to get more life out of my truck? I like that challenge. And now it's a challenge to help others. Now people are sending me settlements. They're saying, "Hey, Todd, how can I do better?" And I'm going, "Oh man, you killed it this week. You need to do what you did here, here, and here." Or, "Oh, this week was down. You spent too much on fuel," or whatever. I love the challenge, and I love the ability to help others. I was helping a guy the other night, a major YouTuber, and he was like, "Hey Todd, I appreciate all your help, all the time you're taking." And I told him, I said, "It's no problem. I enjoy it." And I enjoy helping people. I love running into you guys at truck stops and hearing that some advice I gave you helped you, or something like that. So, and I've been able to help a lot of people, and I don't come on here and brag about it, but it's a good feeling. That's better than any referral bonus or any settlement, is knowing that somebody had a problem and I was able to help them navigate through it. I had a guy call me this week that was really, really depressed, and I spent probably 45 minutes on the phone with him. And at the end of the call, I had him laughing and in a good mood. And I told my wife when I got off the phone, I was like, "This is why I do this. I might have been that guy's last call before he did something he can't undo. And now he's looking at his life differently, and he's going to be okay. And if he's not, he'll call me again and I'll talk to him again. Randy's Road Life channel member says, I was hoping you'd get a Freightliner for serviceability. Randy, if I would have, a lot of people don't know this. I actually looked pretty heavily at an international, and I know how much Randy's Road Life loves internationals. I would have probably put your YouTube logo on my Randy's Road Life International. It'd have been hilarious. And channel member Randy's Road Life says, I wouldn't want to eat a truck driver. Some of these dudes don't shower regularly. Well, you would definitely want to marinate them in something that would sanitize them. James Schneider says, I was thinking about getting a truck at Cordell Truck and Trailer. Could you give me any information on your experience with the financing? I wouldn't get one with them for a whole host of reasons. They just didn't turn out to be the caliber of people that I thought they were. Even the salesperson that I worked there with parted ways with them a few weeks ago. It's like I was saying earlier in the video, I'm not going to discourage you from doing anything you want to do. But counting myself, I know 3 guys that bought a truck from Cordell, and only one of them still has it 6 months later. So there's a whole myriad of reasons for that. That may be true with any leasing company. You may say, Todd, well, that's true for Lone Mountain. It may be. Well, Todd, that's true for LRM. It may be, but I didn't have a positive experience. I had a great truck with the truck, but I didn't have a great experience with the company. And so I don't recommend them, but if you go get one there, I'll still support you. I'll still try to help you out as much as I can. And channel member Randy's Road Life again. James, I got the truck from hell from that place. Yes, James, Randy is one of the people, channel member Randy's Road Life, that got a truck from there. And he had numerous issues. Like I said, me and the other guy I know that got a truck from there, we got pretty decent trucks. We found the office staff at River Valley Capital, which is who does their financing, to just be near impossible to deal with. And Smaller Holler, this must be before he became a member, but I believe he is a new channel member as well. Says getting late, a little late getting in, starting at the beginning so I don't miss anything. Good deal. Thank you for being here. And another good guy here, Alaska Hall. Hey, Todd, what kind of engine's in that bad boy? It does have the Detroit DD15, and then it's got the 12-speed automatic. It's the exact same setup as what my Swift truck has. It came from SFI, so I'm going to assume that it's spec'd for fuel economy, but I can't tell you what rear end's in it. I don't have that information yet. Channel member Midlife. Think of the stories you could have had after 24 hours on the bus. Oh, yeah. The homeless person that fell asleep on me, or the drug bus. The last bus I rode on, they pulled it over and found drugs in the bus and arrested a guy. I guess somebody called in on him. Yeah, I didn't want to ride on the crack hound. Michael says, thinking about going back out on the road, looking at MK Trucking out of Mobile, Alabama. I don't know anything about them. What can you tell me about them? What do you like about them? What do you not like about them? Things like that. Roger Berry says he's tapping out. Cool rainy night here in Sydney, Ohio. Great weather for sleeping. Catch the rerun in the morning. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Be careful. Enjoy the downtime. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving again to everybody. I know we've had some hop in and leave. I hope you all have a great time. If you're on the road, be careful. The idiots will be in force. And if you're at home, forget about the truck and just enjoy your time with your family. Hey, Rose. Rose says, hi, Todd. Hello, Rose. No Fear says, thank you. Yes, sir. Channel member Christian says, tonight we're sleeping to Trucker Todd. Yeah, that's been kind of a running joke for a few weeks now. Somebody came in here and said that their wife says my voice was very soothing and helped them sleep. And then we found out a lot of people fall asleep watching me and catch the replay the next day. That may be why we get so many replay watches. We don't get a lot of replay comments. Like nobody comments. Maybe they're still sleeping. I don't know. But a lot of people don't realize, even if you're not visually watching my video, if you like play my video while you're polishing your truck or cleaning your house, it still helps the channel. So uh, go back and watch all my videos, or at least let them play while you sleep or whatever, and it'll help. And just make sure you got an unlimited data plan. Also, if you watch the commercials all the way through, that really helps as well. James Schneider says, Randy, you're awesome. I've watched a lot of your videos. Oh, there you go, Randy. You got some fans in here. Channel member Christian, the soothing sounds and stories of Trucker Todd. You know, my wife tells really good stories, but I can't ever get her to tell me one. But I always like her stories from when she was like a kid and stuff like that. Growing up in Indiana, it's almost like watching Little House on the Prairie. Channel member Randy's Road Life. Thanks, James. I just want to help people make good decisions. RCE says, hey, Todd, I think this is going to be a good truck for you. You did what you had to do. Best of luck. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll be watching. Thank you, sir. We're going to find out. Like I said, I'm not going to drag it out since you guys already know what company I work at and what truck I'm getting. I'm going to do a walk around video probably while I'm there, while the truck's empty, before I get all my junk in it, and show you all the truck and everything. And then I'll load it and I'll hit the road. But yeah, that video is going to come, but it'll be probably Sunday or Monday when it comes out, depending on how entailed the video is and how much editing I got to do and stuff like that. Skyline says, I'm happy for you, Todd. We need a name for that Freightliner. How about White Gorilla? Yeah, we'll come up with one. The problem is if I open it up to suggestions, we'll get vulgar stuff and everything. Let me drive it and we'll come up with a name for it. I was thinking like 80s rock bands, like Great White or something like that. Midlife Trucker channel member says that his food is vegan. Does that count? Yeah. But if you wanted to open a vegan restaurant in West Texas, I don't know how well it would do. We got a lot of meat eaters here. We're carnivores. But I may next time I'm down there in my small hometown, I may dip in and eat at a restaurant and check it out. I don't even know what I would eat in vegan food. There was a video where I ate an Impossible Whopper, and it actually wasn't that bad. I never for a second thought it was beef, but it wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be. I also had a vegan hamburger patty as a sample at a Costco, and it was the worst piece of food I'd ever put in my mouth. It was awful. And it didn't even look like a burger. You could see carrots and crap in it. Channel member Christian Harlow says, Todd, I'm looking for a truck situation similar to DIY Semi's offer. Can you maybe ask the group, or can you talk about the best and worst lease purchase companies and deals? Yeah, so the devil's going to be in the details. You guys know it's not a secret. I like DIY Semi, and his deal is probably a good deal. He's very, very knowledgeable about maintenance. So whatever truck he lease purchases you is going to be one that's had the maintenance kept up on it. And I think he's a good dude. Like I said, I've never ran from him or ran for him. I've never talked to him on the phone. We've emailed back and forth a couple of times. But just what I've seen on his channel and stuff, I think I would take a serious look at his program, what he's offering. If you get it and send it to me, I'll help you look it over and let you know if there's anything I see that that could be a concern or a question you might want to ask. But just as a person, I think he's a good guy to get involved with. Smaller Holler, channel member, brand new channel member. Haters can hate. You do what you need to do, Trucker Todd. I have had family that has had negative things to say about me and what I do all my life. None of them pay my bills, so they have no say. Yeah, when I started this YouTube channel, I had several family members that laughed at me. I didn't tell anybody for a while because I knew they were going to laugh at me. And then when I got up to like 150 subscribers or so, I let it leak out that I had the channel. And they're like, what a waste of time. You're not making any money. That's never going to work. And even my wife was embarrassed when she first found out I had a YouTube channel. But when the checks started coming in, she started to be real supportive. So, you know, sometimes if you're a visionary or if you're a leader, you're going to do stuff that's going to look crazy to other people. And you may fail, but you're never going to know if you don't take a shot. You don't want to be 70 years old and find out you've got a health problem and have this list of things that you wish you would have done or wish you would have tried, but you were too scared. You'd rather say, oh, I tried that and I just didn't cut it. Or I tried it and I didn't make it the first time, but then I tweaked a few things and I made it that second time. So, yeah, that's what I'd say about that. It's you know, when you get to be my age, when you get in your 50s, I'm 50 now. In about 2 weeks, I'll be 51 on December 11th. And when you get up to this age, you're kind of comfortable with who you are as a person. And people making fun of you or telling you you're dumb or whatever, it doesn't have the same effect on you that it did when you were 20 years old. Here lately, I've had probably a dozen people ask me about starting a YouTube channel. And the very first thing I've told every one of them is you have to have thick skin. If you're going to run and hide the first time somebody says something negative to you or somebody disagrees with you, it's going to be a short YouTube channel. You got to know who you are and what you believe and stick to it. And, you know, a lot of people are going to disagree with you. That's okay. That doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean they're right. And it doesn't mean they're right and you're wrong. It just means you came from different places and you see things differently. But you got to learn to take both constructive criticism and just downright mean criticism. Good Lord, I need to drink some more Coke Zero. Manny Rodriguez says, good afternoon, everyone. You didn't cover up. We saw you. Glad you could make it, Manny. Channel member Randy's Road Life says, good afternoon, Manny. My name is Nobody says, praying for you, Red Raider Reloading. I appreciate that you're praying for my friend. I do. It couldn't, this bad stuff couldn't have happened to a better guy. He's about as good as they get. Nate Midcalf says, hey, Todd. Hey, Nate, thank you for being here. Oh, I like your logo. I do. Checking in from Utica, New York. My GPS don't go there anymore. Last time I went in the Northeast, the tolls ate me alive. And I had a friend, he ran up there recently, and he came out and he's like, man, I'm not going back in the Northeast for a while. I see what you mean now. SRJ is here. He says, I made it. I promise not to be a hater. Truck looks real nice, as I mentioned in your earlier video. You're okay, SRJ. Earlier today, SRJ and I kind of had some minor disagreements, but at the end of the day, I still respect him, and I'm still glad he came in here. It's I've said it, you know, throughout the videos. It's okay to disagree with me. I'm not always right. I just get on here and give my opinion, and so some people have changed my mind on a few things. It's rare, but it does happen. And SRJ earlier today had some concerns. Some of them were pretty valid concerns, and we disagreed, but I'm not mad at him. I'm still glad he's here. And if I run into him out on the road, I'm still going to buy him a hamburger. So no hard feelings, and I appreciate him coming in. that's what I'm talking about. SRJ is a good guy because he can disagree with me and we can still be friends at the the end of the disagreement. He's not like trolling my channel or trying to get me fired or nothing like that. He just sees things from a different perspective than I do, and that's okay. So a lot of respect for SRJ. And in the past, he's been real supportive of the channel as well. So just because he disagrees with me one time doesn't mean he's wrong or a bad guy or nothing like that. Gary Cook says, hopefully your newer truck don't need a starter. Oh, that's funny. Hopefully your newer truck don't need a starter while it's on SRO Logistics property. Just kidding. Oh, that's hilarious. So this is an inside joke. My Kenworth, when I went to SRO Logistics for orientation, on day one of orientation, the starter went out in Scott's driveway at his house. So that's what this joke is referring to. I can tell you, if that truck breaks down in Scott's driveway, he'll probably forbid me from ever setting foot on any SRO Logistics properties again. But that's a great comment, Gary. Very funny. How about those Detroit Lions? Yeah, I couldn't believe Kansas City lost this week, but it's a weird year for the NFL. Channel member Tim Back says Lions are having their best year ever. They will be the one and done in the playoffs. It's their curse. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid about the Cowboys too. It's all it takes is one injury on any of these teams. Kind of like I say in trucking, all it takes is one major breakdown to put any of us out. Same thing. All it takes in the NFL is one major injury, and it can change everything. Hey, look who's here tonight. A guy that we don't get to see him a lot anymore. He's a busy guy, but he made it in tonight. Truckers Coach TV. What's up, Todd? Can't stay, but I thought I'd pop in. Thank you for being here, sir. We appreciate you popping in. Channel member Christian Harlow says, Todd, have you thought of being a fleet owner with your current carrier? I know some guys who are doing that with AA Express. Not really, just because I don't know why anybody would want to. And let's see if I can explain what I mean. So let's say that you had a truck and you wanted to be I guess the way it would work is me buy a truck and then put you in it as a company driver. I would have company driver taxes and all of that. You would still have to be approved by Scott to run under SRO. The problem you run into, and this is not a hit on you, is when you hire drivers, you assume that every driver is going to be just like you are. So you assume they're going to take care of the equipment. They're going to run hard. They're not going to spend all their time at the home. And the other thing to that is, since everybody at SRO Logistics is self-dispatched, if I did that, I'd have to dispatch a bunch of drivers. Well, that'd make it hard for me to drive A, and B, then I would have to keep up with who don't run where, who don't go here, who don't go there, who needs to be home on what weekends or what days, and it's just it's a lot more headache for probably lot more money, not a lot more money, and then you've got the maintenance of the truck and all the drama that can come from it. So at this point, the answer is no. It's not something I've ever thought about or talked to Scott about. But the one thing in trucking I've learned is never say never. But for now and in the immediate future, that's not something I'm really interested in doing. Midlife Trucker channel member talking about mile per gallon and fuel. Get Let's Truck gauges to track your new truck mile per gallon and cents per mile. Yeah, I'm going to be looking into that. I got so much crap to do, and it's I'm not going to show you my living room, but my whole life is pretty chaotic right now, and I'm going to concentrate on reining that in the coming weeks, and then that's when I'm going to delve into all of that. And there's a lot of stuff coming. I've got one thing you'd be able to say about me. I've got direction. I've got a lot of things I want to do. It's just I got to get everything organized where I can do it. Wimpy McPope man with a million excuses waking up the neighborhood with the Chevy on Thanksgiving morning, priceless. Yeah, well, I don't have the Chevy no more. I traded the vet um, for a motorcycle and some cash. But I'm guessing you're talking about your Chevy. My pickup's loud, but it sounds like an angry Honda because it's that EcoBoost. The motorcycle's pretty loud. I guess I could do it with that, but it's been a little cold lately to pull it out of the shop. Oh crap! You didn't go to the office today. Yeah, that motorcycle cover. I forgot about it because I left you the pickup. It's no big deal. It's in the shop anyway. I'll fiddle with that tomorrow while you're at work, and I'll gas up the pickup and everything for you. Channel member Tom Bell talking about Thanksgiving. Good carriers get their drivers home for the holidays. Yeah, that's one thing about Swift. I don't know if they still do it, but when I worked for them from 96 to 2001, they guaranteed you'd be home for Thanksgiving. They said even if they had to park your truck and fly you home, they guaranteed you'd be home for Thanksgiving. Now, I don't know if carriers still do that because of how freight is now, but that was always something that they were really proud of, that any driver that wanted to be home for Thanksgiving for Christmas would be there. I don't know about Thanksgiving, but that's really good that your company does that. For those that don't know, Midlife works for Cheeseman. He's a company driver there, and he's as happy a driver as you're ever going to find. So he also has a really cool YouTube channel, and he's a master drone flyer in those videos. If you want to see some really cool drone footage or see his pay, what he makes at Cheeseman, he shows that on his channel. And if you want to know more about Cheeseman, reach out to him, and he can sure talk to you about that. Especially you guys that are looking for a company driver job. I don't know a company driver that's happier than he is at Cheeseman, or that Skyline is at Crete, or that John Toohey is at GP Transco. So if you're interested in those three companies, that's who you talk to about a company driving position. Let's see. Tim Back, brand new channel member, says it's going to be a girl's name, so I'll call it Snow White. Oh man, why's it got to be a girl's name? We need something butch, like real manly name. Why can't we call it like Rambo or something like that? The Terminator. Oh man. I'm going to lose my voice tonight, but it's going to be worth it. Channel member Midlife says, I'm a carnivore, but my food is vegan. The steer ate grass. There you go. Um, you know, when I met Scott for the first time and we had dinner, his wife and my wife and him and me, he said, I'm a carnivore. And he was talking about the carnivore diet. And I thought, well, I live in West Texas. I'm carnivore too. And I found out it was actually a diet, and it's beef, butter, and bacon is how he kind of described it. And he's lost some weight on it, and it's a very tempting diet. So he eats like a king and still loses weight and has plenty of energy. So when the show's over, y'all Google carnivore diet, and it was the first time that I've ever heard somebody describe a diet that it was actually interesting. I enjoy hearing him talk about it, and I learned a lot from him that night. Now I hadn't started following it yet, but I do appreciate the diet. I'm doing a different diet. I lost 15 pounds in one weekend. It's called the stressed out until your back swells up diet, and it works real well as well. Channel member Randy's Road Life says, "Don't get an international. Ignore Todd, even if my channel logo is on it." So on that decal, Randy, I'd put approved and recommended by Randy's Road Life. So, Coach's Ugly Sweater says, just curious, what's the price on the truck? Is your insurance paid on a monthly basis? So, since the investor had to buy the truck and put it in his name and then lease purchase it to me, he also had to get the insurance, and we figured it in the payment. I know exactly how much uh, the insurance is and how much goes to the payment and things like that. But I'm not revealing it on the channel at this time. I may I may later do it, but the reason is because of what happened with the motorcycle. People misbehaved so bad and made assumptions. I mean, the 3,800 for the motorcycle, I laughed when I saw it. I saw offers online anywhere from 6 to 12,000. Most were in the 8 to 9,000 range. So 3,800 was a joke, and the exact price really doesn't matter unless somebody's wanting to buy that truck from me right now. And the reason is, if this beta testing of this lease purchase program works, then you're not going to be buying my truck. Your truck numbers will be different anyway. So it really doesn't matter. And I did share the term. The term is 36 months. But even that's kind of irrelevant, because if this lease purchase program grows and it's offered to more people, your term might be different depending on what truck you get. So, yeah, I just think at the time being, it's probably not best to reveal that information. Now, if I'm talking to somebody on the phone and there comes a point where they need to know for a certain reason, then sure, I'll divulge it. It's not a secret. I'm not hiding anything. I've already said earlier in the video, I know that had I had cash, I know what a 2017 Freightliner goes for. I know I paid significantly more than what it's probably worth, but significantly less than what I paid for the Kenworth. And at this time, that's honestly about as specific as I can get. Channel member Christian says that's 100% right, Todd. Visionaries are always misunderstood at first. And yeah, I mean, I may be, I don't know if I'm a visionary or if I'm just too stubborn to fail. I've been hearing all year, oh, what you're doing is not going to work. You can't make it. That won't work. And here I am still standing. Now I'm bruised and battered, and I'm definitely not as in good a shape as I was the first quarter of this year. But I'm still in the game when very few people thought I would be. Some people in my inner circle kind of had an idea. They're like, Todd, we know you. Even when I was going, I don't think I can make it. They were going, no, Todd, you're going to make it. And they were right. I'm still in. Plane ticket is bought, and Saturday afternoon I'll be sitting in my next truck and probably walking around it shooting a video for you guys. Coach's Ugly Sweater. Is there any difference between insurance on different makes of truck? So, in my experience, it's gone by the value of the truck. So, for example, and I can compare here because I had OIDA both times. When I had the Swift truck, I had OIDA insurance, and um, it was a lot higher, like 4 times higher than what the Volvo was that I wrecked. So my Swift insurance was significantly higher than what it was on that '08 Volvo. Um, my Kenworth with Cordell and with River Valley Capital was about mm, probably, well, I don't know, because the investor that's buying the truck is getting the insurance. I just know what I'm paying, but it's about $120 a month cheaper than what I was paying for the Kenworth. So I've got some savings there. I've got some savings on the payment, and I should see a pretty significant savings. And my goal is in my mind, act like my payment's still the same as it was on that Kenworth, and put that additional money in a savings account for maintenance and repairs. Because I know a 2017, I don't care how great of a truck it is, it's going to break down at some point, and I want to be prepared for that. Coach's Ugly Sweater. Is a day cab any cheaper to insure thinking of buying a day cab and running local. It's all going to depend on the value of the truck, but I would say generally speaking that a day cab would be cheaper than than what a sleeper truck would be. But Alot especially, and I know there's other companies like Seabright and stuff. They'll give you a quote. Call them, say, "Hey, I'm looking at a 2020 Freightliner day cab. I estimate its value is this. What do you think my insurance will be?" And they can give you a quote. And if you find a truck and give them a VIN number, they can give you a pretty specific quote. And I recommend getting $1,000 deductible. You can get a $2,000 deductible, but it really doesn't save you that much. And it's a lot easier to come up with $1,000 for a deductible than it is 2,000. So, but yeah, I would think generally speaking that a day cab would be cheaper, but I've never sold truck insurance, so I'm speculating based on what my experience has been. All righty. Yes, I found this out too. No Fear says it's hard to find a bank to finance a used truck. And let me tell you about that because I do feel comfortable sharing this. A lot of you know when I had the Corvette, I went and talked to my bank about getting a collateral line of credit where I put the Corvette up as collateral and they would give me a line of credit that I could use for maintenance and things like that. Should I need it, I would still have a savings account. That would be kind of the reserve if it went over what I had in a savings account. And the problem was the last 30 days, my only income had been my wife's check and my YouTube income and those things, no trucking income. And the guy said, you know, if you can put together 3 consecutive months of no problems, you know, just running hard, making money, then we can put something together for you. He took it to the board of the bank. And so my goal is to get out here and work hard, run hard, especially next year when the weather warms up. And when I've got 3 or 4 months that I feel really good about, then I'll go back in and talk to them about that. I've got a really good bank in Lubbock that they work with me and we have a really good relationship. And who knows, at that time, I may be able to get a loan and refinance that Freightliner out from under the investor and into my own financing, which I think he would be. I haven't talked to him about it. I think he would be ecstatic if I could do that because it would limit his risk. It'd save both of us a ton of money and interest, and it would free up some capital for him where he might be able to do that for somebody else. Again, not looking to pay the truck off so I could take it anywhere else, but just to try to help my situation. Now, that may be a pipe dream because I'll have that repo on there. So at that time, we'll see how good of a relationship I do have with my bank. But just some brainstorming about possibilities further down the line. And even if they say, no, Todd, we're not touching you for 7 years, fine, I could squeeze a few more years out of this truck. And at some point, I'm going to get to a point where I could finance another one if I needed to, or I could finance a large repair if I needed to, or something like that. This lease purchase in a lot of ways could really open up a lot of opportunities for me. And again, not so I can get away from Scott, but just so I can grow my own business under Scott's umbrella. Channel member Randy's Road Life says, "Hold up just a second here. We've met on several occasions, and you never bought me a hamburger." That's true, but all the times we met, hamburgers or some type of food was provided for us. I seem to remember at Roadrunner us eating pretty well together, but uh, we hadn't run into each other lately. And shoot, the last 6 months you've made more money than I have, so you should be buying me a hamburger. Coach's ugly sweater. My bank says day cabs are easier to finance. Again, I would think so because um, the uh, the initial cost is less. So a $250,000 truck is going to be harder to finance than a $10,000 truck, I would think. Now, I've never worked for a bank. I did do some finance for for some car lots and things like that. So they call it F&I, finance and insurance. And so I talked with a lot of banks, but I've never been on that side of the desk. And I couldn't tell you for sure, but what you're saying sounds right. And maybe somebody else in here has more expertise on it than me. Channel member Randy says it's a weird year when his Browns are winning. Yeah, it is. There was a time when it was universally thought that, and it's been a long time, that the Browns were the worst team in the NFL. Also, Tampa Bay, I can remember when they were thought to be the worst team in the NFL. And now they're strong contenders every year. Channel member Christian says if you had to lease from a company other than the ones we've mentioned, like DIY or SRO, which are the top three you would look at? Honestly, that's a very tough question. I probably wouldn't recommend any of them right now. And I would be real reluctant to get my own authority right now, just because everything is so volatile and unpredictable. Nothing against any of these companies, but most of them, the truck payments are 12 or 1300 a month, and you can make that when you're getting 3,000 miles a week. But if the miles get cut to 2,000 miles a week, it can be a struggle. And I mean, I know guys that are making 500 or 600 a week, and you're not coming out on the road to make 500 or 600 a week. Right now, unless you know of a really, really good lease purchase company, I'd probably go company for 6 months or a year for a company you think you like and see how it is. And then if you like it there, then transition into a lease purchase. Obviously, I think everybody agrees if you can save your money, $5,000 or $10,000, and put a down payment on a truck, that's the best option. Obviously, we can't all do that. I'm having to do a lease purchase right now. Life kind of punched me, but yeah, it might be that a company driver position's better. Small companies like DIY or SRO is where it's at right now, though. Um, they're you've just got so much. There's so many advantages there, and the other thing you're going to get with both of these guys, DIY or SRO, is knowledge and experience. These are both guys that drive trucks, that know about trucks. They're not investors that have never driven a truck, that don't know anything about trucking. So you want somebody like that, because I don't care how knowledgeable you are, how much experience you got. Sometimes you need to ask a question, and you need somebody that's been where you've been. I've got more experience than Scott does, but I still call him for advice. I still call him with questions. And so, yeah, just that's what I would say about that. And we can talk more about it off air if you want to, but man, right now it's tough. Browns are the worst 7-3 team ever. Win every game by 3 points with zero quarterback help. This year I haven't got to watch a lot. I've been watching mostly just the Cowboys. So normally I'm a lot more up on it than I am, but I loosely follow the Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes played for the Red Raiders here in Lubbock. And I follow the Cowboys as closely as I can because I'm a big Dak Prescott fan. And I'm starting to forgive Jerry Jones now that he announced he's going to put Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor. Randy, he doesn't buy people burgers if their name starts with an R. The rest of us gets free burgers. There you go. Now I think Randy's earned a free burger. It might be off the dollar menu. Wimpy McPote says, is there a worse city to deliver to than Pittsburgh? Whoever decided to build a city there was a complete idiot. Yeah, Pittsburgh has the worst roads ever. Like, they look really cool in the Rocky movies, but man, drive a truck through there, especially at night, and they make no sense whatsoever. NY Crazy says, best starter company. I think that really depends where you live and what you're wanting to do. I think if I was going to do reefer, probably the best starter company might be a Prime or somebody like that. Dry van, I still like Swift to this day. I'm not saying they're perfect, but some of that depends where you live, where you want to go, what you don't want to do. I've been told that uh, TMC for flatbed is really good. I guess they've still got a training program, but I really don't know. You got to remember, my training was almost 3 decades ago, and I did train some in the early 2000s, and my last experience with that made me never train again. But it ended with me and a guy having a fist fight in the Prime Terminal. So yeah, it's a mess. None of the companies treat you good the first year, though. I don't think it's kind of like boot camp and trucking. But if you can stay at one company for a year, a lot of doors start to open for you. Wimpy McPote says 74 El Camino 454 and hooker headers. Oh, now you're talking my kind of car. I love those. And I'm not even a Chevy guy. I had an El Camino, well, up until Labor Day of 96, and it was a great car. It didn't have like the 305 in it. It was like a 4 point something liter V8. It wasn't the fastest car ever, and it never met a dirt road it didn't get stuck on. But it was a great street car, and you could throw stuff in the bed. I was doing farm work back then, and I'd throw a bunch of the workers in the bed and take them out to the field and stuff, and then get stuck on a turn row and have to get a tractor and pull myself out. I needed different tires or something on that car, but it was a good car and it looked cool. And the 74 is even better. I like that body style a lot better. Spiritual Awakening Kid. I'm with Super Ego. Did I make a good move if I know what I'm doing? I've never worked for Super Ego too. That's another one I've never worked at. I hear, the deal about Super Ego is you hear one of two things. People either say, I love it here, it's the best company either, or they say, I hate it here. It doesn't seem like anybody says, they're okay. So I don't know if it's the driver or the company, but there seems to be no middle ground in the pendulum. It's either you love it or you hate it. But if you know a lot about them, you could tell us if they're good or bad, what you like, what you don't like, things like that. No Fear says I'm on a seafood diet. Yeah, seafood needed. I love that diet. That's one I can stick to. Fly Rabbit says he lost 40 pounds in 2020 with that carnivore diet. Yeah, Scott explains it really well. Like, normally you don't like diets because they say you can only eat this, you can only eat this, you can't have this, you can't have that. And he wasn't. He's like, here's what I eat. And it was like all my favorite foods. And I was like, finally, a diet I can do. And Fly Rabbit says he lost that 40 pounds in 3 months. Manny says, call it White Snake. Yeah, I just, I don't know. I'll think of something. But yeah, I like that better than Sleeping Beauty or Snow White or something like that. Maybe it needs to be Sleeping Beauty since all my videos put everybody to sleep. Channel member Tim Back says, I'm on the same diet, no fear. I see food and I eat it. My Uncle Ray, who I'll be seeing on Thanksgiving Day and who I eat with today, says, just keep hanging in there. I know God will see you through. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Channel member Tim Back says, the woman is home, settled, my friend. So I'm going to get off here. Good night to you and chat. Happy Thanksgiving to all and everyone. Please give Todd a hard time for me while I'm gone. All right, Tim. You have a good Thanksgiving. I'm sure I'll talk to you before then, but have a great night, my friend. And channel member Road Life says, have a peaceful night, Tim. Channel member Tim Back says, I said my woman's home, so how the hell can I have a peaceful night? Jeez. Randy's Road Life channel member says, oh, my bad. Try hard to have sort of a peaceful night. There you go. And Tim Back says it was a joke. Channel member Robbie Ross and fellow Cowboy fan, probably an even bigger Cowboy fan than me, says, "Hey Todd, just parked in West Memphis, got a load to Wilmer, Texas, which puts me in Arlington for Turkey Day." Yeah, Robbie is going to the Cowboys game on Thanksgiving Day. Man, I wish I could go. That's going to be a fun time, and I'm glad he's going to make it in there just in the nick of time. Channel member Christian says, as far as company goes, I heard great things about GP Transco. Yeah, my friend John Dewey's over there, and he's pretty happy. I brought him on and let him talk about GP Transco, and I don't think anybody went to work there yet, but they sound like a great outfit. I would have definitely called John Toohey if that was something I was interested in. He's a nice guy, and he's one of those guys that he's a country boy. You can tell he's an honest guy, so I feel real comfortable sending people to him. Randy's Road Life channel member, who's also very knowledgeable about flatbed companies. If you're looking for a flatbed company, go check out Randy's channel or shoot him a message and let him tell you about flatbed. He does have a lot of knowledge and experience there. He says TMC does train and they micromanage a lot. Yeah, I think when you're going to a training company, you're going to experience a lot of micromanagement your first year, especially. So it might be a necessary evil till you get that year in. But maybe, Randy, who would you suggest in the flatbed world for training? Channel member Midlife says best starter company is TMC or Millis. Find a carrier that trains, not team drives. Yeah, I agree. Millis is another one of those companies I've heard a lot of good about. Again, I don't know hardly anything about flatbed, so everything I'm telling you in this category is hearsay, but I know Midlife and Randy both have a lot of knowledge on this. But I do agree with Midlife that you don't want somebody that just team drives you to death to get the miles. You want somebody that'll have that driver up in the front seat teaching you what you know or need to know to be successful. Christian says he likes drive away. He just hates all the plane flights and uncertainty with the over $100+ Uber rides and rental car shortages. Yeah, I don't mind flying. I just like that deal you had going to Canada that fell through. That's the kind of stuff that would get under my skin. Channel member Midlife, starter company. However, if you live in Western Ohio, Eastern Indiana, or Southern Carolina, I know a great company with an apprentice program. Yeah, so that might be a deal. If we find somebody in that area, we might have Midlife talk to them and turn them on to that deal up there. Channel member Christian says, I've also heard really good on Super Ego and really bad. Yeah, it seems to be one extreme or the other. And that kind of spills into our next comment. Silos says, ego is robbing people. How can you promote them? Well, I just said I hadn't promoted them. I don't work there. I've never worked there. Everybody I hear either talks really good or really bad about them. Now, maybe you're talking about the other guy that came in here and promoted them, but I don't have any knowledge of them. I've never even talked to one of their recruiters. I just companies like that, I go by what y'all tell me. If I'm really interested in the company, I've done videos about this, about how I evaluate a company. I get their safer score. I try to find 10 good reviews, 10 bad reviews. Typically, my wife will help me look, and we'll investigate the crap out of a company. But no, I don't promote them or dissuade from them. I don't have any firsthand knowledge about them, and I've never really sat down and researched them a lot. Hey, Road Scholars here. He did a video on Saturday that prompted my Monday video, and it was really good. And so, yeah, it's tough out there right now. I'm looking for his next video to come out so I can hear what the updates are. But yeah, he's a good guy. Y'all need to check his channel out too. Channel member John Toohey says, good night, Todd and chat. Good night, sir. And he also says, happy Thanksgiving all. Yes, sir. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Channel member Randy says, Super Ego is a Chicago company that turns people off. It's all about the terms and the truck evaluation. Then it depends on how well you manage fuel and maintenance. Yeah, as a general rule, I'm against a lease purchase with any Chicago area company. Now, GP Transco, since it's only company jobs, I'm okay with that. But as a general rule, I'm against any lease purchase from a Chicago-based area company. As far as the trucks, what I've heard about up there, that they say they got all these great trucks, and then when you get there, they're in pretty poor condition. I'm sure it's like any other company on that. It's kind of hit and miss on trucks. Some weeks are better than others, but as a general rule, I just steer clear of Chicago area companies. EDG says my cargo insurance went up $20 more. Now I'm paying $275 every week. Is that normal? That sounds a little high, I think. Actually, I can't answer that because Scott covers our cargo insurance. So I would have to get with him, but I can't answer that. Truck insurance, that sounds real high, but cargo insurance, I can't answer that. Maybe somebody else in here could answer that. Channel member Robbie Ross says, I spoke to GP, told me I had to be out 2 to 3 months because I live in Arizona. Yeah, that'd be a no-go for me. But all of these companies, it really depends on where you live and how you fit in their system. If they're a good company for you, that's why you can have GP Transco, and I can work there, and Robbie can work there, and I can say I love it, and he can say he hates it, and we're both telling the truth. Our experiences are going to vary based on what truck we get, what dispatcher we get, where we live, how often they get us home, how they run us. There's just so much that all I can really do is give you my experience, and all the subscribers can do is really give you their experience, and then you have to make an adult decision about what you think's best for you. Wimpy McPote says GP Transco is an awesome company. Truck in the shop this week. Stayed at a hotel and made the 1,200 guaranteed salary. That's awesome. I didn't realize you worked at GP Transco, but now I've got two people saying that's a good company. You and John Toohey. And he clarified. He said it's 2 to 3 weeks, not months. So the recruiter that told Robbie that may have got it wrong. It seems like there's a lot of turnover among recruiters. And I know at Swift, sometimes some of the recruiters would have their information wrong. And that's why I tried to direct everybody to Michelle when I was there. Channel member Randy says, I would suggest TMC for training because they do the most open deck applications. Yeah, a lot of people have said that's a great place to go for um, people like that. But I have heard the micromanagement thing, and they've got a lot of little policies like you can't walk on the grass, and they'll inspect your truck to make sure your bed's made military style and things like that. Road Scholar says, hey, midlife, how's it going? Channel member Christian says, a company put poor performance on my DAC report. Is there a way to remove or add my own comments to this report? I hurt my foot and needed to be off for a few weeks and didn't go back. So yeah, you can. Your DAC report is just like a credit bureau. You can challenge the information on there, and they will do an investigation. It doesn't mean it'll get removed. Sometimes they'll just put a remark on there that you challenge the validity of the information. As it ages, though, it'll have less and less effect on you. But if you find it's hindering you getting another job or something like that, just Google how to challenge DAC report, and you'll get information on how to do that. EHO doesn't have a guard with a 22 for no reason. they're afraid someone is going to come piss through the door. Well, yeah, and a lot of companies, I remember when companies, even Dart, which was a great place to work back in the day, put 2-inch bulletproof glass in their dispatch window and a key card that you had to get in where the dispatchers are. They wouldn't hardly let you back there. And it used to be you could walk right up to their desk. And they said because they had proprietary information back there, I always kind of questioned that. But I mean, I kind of had that too, even 20 something years ago when I worked there. You had to use your fuel card to get where the dispatchers were. And if they thought you were hostile, they'd shut your card off where you couldn't get where the dispatchers were. But for me, I've never saw the point of fighting a dispatcher. And I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't matter how tough you are, how bad you are. Let's say you can whoop your dispatcher. And let's say you can whoop the dispatcher beside him and the one behind him. Let's say you're Bruce Lee and you're just whipping them. Somebody, one of those secretaries is going to make it to the phone and call 911. And you're not going to beat them. Eventually, you're going to lose. It's a lot better and a lot less time in jail and a lot less expensive if if you can work it out peacefully. And I've become really, really good at negotiating. I've become really, really good at talking to people to where that's not even an option for me. I don't think, well, if I don't get my way, I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna whip them. I don't have that thought. I think, all right, I'm gonna sit down with them and try to work it out. And if we can't work it out, then I'm going to explore my options. Maybe it's another company. Maybe I don't do this kind of load for them no more, or something like that. But you're not going to, in this day and age, the way the world is, it's harder and harder to solve your problems with a good old fist fight. Now, there's still a few times that a fist fight is what's needed or what's required, but more times than not, you can get what you want by talking if you just keep a calm tone and try to see things from their perspective and try to work out a solution that works for everybody. Channel member Robbie Ross says, it was months, Wimpy. I even repeated it to the recruiter. Yeah, that's why I think maybe it was maybe a new recruiter that had their facts wrong or something like that. Wimpy McPote says he lives in Wyoming and GP Transco always gets him home. They even flew me home once. Oh, that is awesome. Channel member Christian says, has anybody worked for Gulf Relay? I live in New Orleans area and I see their trucks here all the time. All right, folks, does anybody know anything about Gulf Relay? EDG says, thanks. You're welcome, sir. Wimpy McPote says, parts on order for my old truck with 100,000 miles. My new truck has 67 mics on it. I bet he means miles. Well, that's good that they gave you like a loaner truck while they're working on yours. Midlife channel member says, Doc Green, all is well. Well, that is great to hear. Wimpy McPote says, I choose to stay out 4 to 6 weeks in the summer months, take off lots of days off and vacation time due to winter conditions, which reduces my miles and wages. That's not bad. At least you found a strategy that works for you. All right, we've caught up on the comments. We're at the 2.5 hour mark. We still got 57 in here, so I don't want to wrap it up while we got a crowd. While I'm waiting for you guys to type some more comments, y'all check out that ticker, the quote I put there from Donald Rumsfeld, and also my email, my website's there. I'm going to remove that comment so it's easier for y'all to see. Give me a thumbs up. Share this video on your social media platforms. Don't leave here tonight without remembering to do that. Most importantly, have a great Thanksgiving when that time rolls around. Say a quick prayer. Thank God for all the blessings in your life, the good things that's going on. And and everything. We've got a lot to be thankful for. We got a lot we could sit around and feel sorry for ourselves about, but it's a good time to think about all the blessings in our lives. And hopefully, you guys will put up some more comments, and hopefully, my voice will hold up. And if not, we'll wrap it up here pretty quick. But this has been a great show. It went a lot better than I thought it would. We got a couple of comments from channel member Randy's Road Life. I'll read both of those, and then if we don't get nothing else, I'll go ahead and call it a night. Thank y'all for sticking with me tonight, though. If you didn't catch it all, go back and watch the replay. And remember, we're not going to have a Thursday night video, but I'll try to shoot a video for Sunday or Monday showing the new truck. And like always, you channel members will be the first to see it. And then we'll roll it out to everybody later in the week. Hey, looky here. Channel member Robbie Ross come in with the $10 super chat. Show ended too quick on Tuesday. Happy Thursday day. Go Cowboys. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. They all end too quick. I enjoy talking to you guys. And so I appreciate y'all being here. But I do want to make sure I get a happy Thanksgiving out to everybody. Let's get Randy's 2 comments in. He's a channel member. He says, okay, people, I got to get some rest for my delivery tomorrow. And I got a date with a turkey. And I have it on good authority that I'm going to get lucky. Oh, that's too much information there, Randy. But I would say if you get turkey, you're already lucky. Happy Thanksgiving and God bless you all. Yes, sir. You too. Have a great night. Tell the family hi for me. I've talked to his family before on the phone there, or I've talked to his wife before on the phone. They're really good people. So hoping they have a great Thanksgiving. Hey, Christian Harlow, channel member and now super chatter with his $10 donation. Thank you for that, sir. I appreciate you very much. He says, happy Thanksgiving, Todd. Well, thank you, sir. I hope you have a great one too. And hopefully somebody will get back to you about that company you were interested in. I'm trying to hang in here for a minute, hoping somebody will say something. But let me know also, Christian, let me know how it goes when you try to get that removed from your DAC report. I know how to do it, but I've never done one. I've never known anybody that did one. So you can be my guinea pig for how well it works. Dirty Diesel says the air filter housing screws on his 579 stripped out. I just spent today making a video on replacing it. Oh man, that's a video I might want to go check out. I'm just curious how they do it. I think I've got an idea of how they do it, but hopefully it wasn't a real expensive repair. It doesn't sound like it was. It just might have been a time-consuming repair. But thank you for making a video about it either way to help other drivers. Gary Cook says, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Enjoy the green bean casserole. Yeah, that's my wife's favorite dish that they make. Paula, what's that one I like, the mashed potato casserole? A what? Yeah, I like the loaded mashed potato casserole. The way my uncle's family makes that this year, his daughter's making it. That stuff is incredibly good. It's horrible for me, lots of carbs, but it is really, really good. No Fear says, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Dirty Diesel says $720 for a replacement from the dealership. Oh, I thought you fixed it. So do they use a tap and die set and just rethread it, or how do they do that repair? I'm curious. I know we were going to wrap this up, but Dirty Diesel came in here with something that really got me interested. He says Dirty Diesel says it came with a new filter already installed though. Well, that's good. For $720, it should have. You replaced the whole housing. Probably the best way and the longest lasting way to do it. Channel member Christian said, I'd like a group of us to get together at Mid-America Truck Show, go eat and get some drinks. Yeah, I went last year and had the time of my life and vowed I was going to go again. It's extremely expensive for me to go, but if there's any way I can go this year, I will. I know a lot of people are going to want to meet up with me there. I've had several people volunteer to be my camera guy because I need a camera guy. So stuff always happens at the last minute where people can't go or aren't able to get there for whatever reason. I had a couple of people last year that last minute weren't able to make it. But yeah, we'll look at something like that. I might even stay at the same hotel I did last time. If we get several people wanting to go, I can make a deal with the hotel to get our rooms cheaper, something like that. So when it gets closer to time, I think it's in the last part of March, we can certainly look at something like that. But yeah, I think it'd be great if we can get together. I'm still in negotiations with some companies. I may be at a booth or something doing some appearances. I may do some live shows there and have some of you guys on and things like that. So don't put it on your calendar yet, but just in the back of your mind, be thinking about the Mid America Truck Show in Louisville. And if you can go, then we'll try to put something together, and maybe we can do something collaborative at some point. I could have tapped new screws, but I tried that before and it lasted me 6 months before they stripped again. Yeah, that's why I said I think what you did was the more permanent solution. Just tapping them would be a band-aid solution, and you probably did the better solution where it's going to last you a lot longer. Probably the best decision overall. And this right here is another reason of why I like being an owner operator. If that was a company truck, they'd have fixed it the very cheapest way they could, and in a few months you'd be doing it all over again. But since it's your truck, you fix it correctly so that you're not constantly going in the shop. So I think you made a good decision. Yep. Channel member Christian says Matt's is March 30th. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's towards the end of March. And so I'm going to try to go. It's just too soon to tell. Quite honestly, it's going to depend how this truck runs. If it runs good and I don't have any problems between now and March, then yeah, I'm going to be staying at a nice hotel. I usually take the whole weekend off there and leave out Monday. And my wife has some family up in the area. I'll try to see them while I'm up there if I can. But usually I'm just covered up busy from early morning till late at night at the truck show. I'm trying to film trucks and talk to companies and things like that about products and coming on my show and things like that. Dirty Diesel says, I agree. At least now I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, it's companies always do that. They look for the cheapest way out, and owner operators look for the best way out. So, Dirty Diesel may have spent a couple extra $100 here fixing it the correct way, but 6 months from now, he's not having to do it again. So, one way, 6 months from now, he's redoing the repair, and one day he's rolling down the highway making money. So, I think he did the right thing. Oh, my Uncle Ray is still in here. I didn't know he was in here. Ah, I did not know that. So he said that baked potato casserole that I love so much was actually stolen from my mother. My mom used to make it. And I actually think she stole it from your mother. I think Granny used to make it, if I'm not mistaken. Um, on my mom's side of the family, there's a long history of good cooks. And his wife, Ray's wife, who's in the hospital right now, she's a great cook. I've never ate anything she cooked that was bad, and so I like her cooking a lot. And I look forward every holiday to sneaking over there and getting some of that baked potato casserole. And I think she's tired of making it, but everybody loves it so much that they make it every holiday. Man, I look forward to it. And Paula likes the green bean casserole, so looking forward to that as well. So let's see. We got another one here. Biden wears diapers. Look under my green deal. I'm creating millions of jobs that truckers can do instead of polluting the earth and contributing to climate. Come on, man. Yes. Yes. That's funny. I like that. Oh boy. I say I'm not going to get political on here, but sometimes you guys say some funny stuff and I have to like it. we got to come up with some Trucker Todd merchandise. A funny shirt that says "Your wife gets the best sleep with Trucker Todd." Yeah, we might as well offend everybody. Or a shirt that says "My wife sleeps better with Trucker Todd," and then have Trucker Todd in the YouTube symbol or something like that. That'd be funny. One guy wants me to do a Todd Bod shirt, where it looks like I've got six-pack abs and all that. I'm afraid to do it because I don't know how sponsors and things like that. Sometimes they don't take jokes very well, but definitely some Guerrilla Gang stuff. I did work on that some this week, and I'm going to work on it a lot tomorrow if the phone's not ringing off the wall. I wanted to have that stuff out by Christmas, and I just don't know if I can do it that quick, but I am working on it. Channel member Robbie Ross says, don't forget, thumbs up, y'all. Yeah, please, before you start feasting on the turkey, look right under the video and hit that little thumbs up button and hit that other button that says subscribe. A little bell will pop up. Hit that bell, select all. All of these things we're telling you to do are free, and it really helps the channel, and you get a little notification when videos and community posts and all that stuff come out. And if you really want to help the channel, like several of you have done tonight, there's that join button. And for $5 a month, you can support a truck driver. Yes, it's like 2 cents. No, it's more than that. 20 cents a day. You can support a truck driver. All of that's there. And I found out tonight you can also do a super chat by hitting the little cash symbol in the far right below the screen. And you can contribute. The money you contribute now goes to Christmas, so that's great. All of it's appreciated, but even if you just show up and comment and give me a thumbs up, I really appreciate you being here. So Gary Cook says, how far do you have to fly to get the truck? A little over 800 miles. It's a 4.5-hour flight. It's got an hour-and-a-half layover in Dallas, which I'm okay with that because sometimes it takes an hour-and-a-half to get from gate to gate. So I'm pretty excited. Probably won't sleep a whole lot the next couple of nights because even though the investor thought I was discouraged, I'm really excited. I just, I'm trying to keep a level head. I'm trying to not get overly excited or underly excited. I'm just trying to be monotone. Wow. Racing Ray made me hungry talking about that baked potato casserole. I think it's a loaded baked potato casserole. The only thing I haven't had in many years that I miss, speaking of my mom and her cooking, she used to make me an angel food cake for my birthday, and she would put a special icing on it called Mile High icing. And she gave my wife the recipe, and the recipe got destroyed or lost or whatever. And so we think we found that recipe on the internet, and my wife says she's going to make it for me at some point, but she never has done it yet. But I used to look forward to my birthday every year for that Mile High icing. Makes me hungry thinking about it. All right, things are slowing down in here. We're down to 39 subscribers. I think we're going to wrap this up, call it a night, get ready for Thanksgiving. You guys be on the lookout for that video I do about the truck when I get to it. And thank y'all for being here. Thank you for all the positive comments. Thank you for all the memberships tonight, all the super chats, everything that y'all do to help this channel come together, all the great comments. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Y'all have a great night. We got one more. Channel member Christian says, what's everybody's favorite dish? Mine is crab and corn soup, a Harlow yearly Thanksgiving tradition. I've never had crab and corn soup. Paula, have you ever had crab and corn soup? She's never had it either. I may have to Google that. All right, before I disappear, I'm going to sit here for a few minutes in case anybody wants to say what their favorite dish is. Channel member Christian says, thanks, Todd. See ya. All right, I guess Christian's saying we're going to wrap it up now. We're at 2 hours and 45 minutes. Every time I hit this end button, somebody sends a comment and I can't reply. So I would say if I don't reply, resend it as a regular comment to this video, and I'll get back to it as quick as I can. That also helps me in the replay when y'all comment there as well. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Thank y'all so much. We'll see you on the next one.